Hello and welcome to Korner K2, episode 4. I, of course, am your host, Kevin Chloris. I am the Game Master, / the Dungeon Master, / the Battle Boss, depending on which you feel like. I also occasionally moonlight as Dr. Nathaniel Wasserbrook on Fridays, but only at a very specific singular club in Detroit, Michigan. I'm also joined by Javier, who plays the lovely hell-worshipping warlock, pyromancer, wizard, mage guy, whose name I refuse to pronounce, and also Battlecock occasionally, everybody's favorite mascot.
Occasionally.
Occasionally. And also, Kyle's here, playing the Bone Fairy, Nyx, and the Tooth Fairy, Yuna. John's not here, the Imperator. He would be playing Joseph Van Helsing, but he's not here. So instead, he's dead. Today is the super spooky Halloween special. So that's nice. Updates between sessions. We remembered, and by we I mean I, remembered that fairies are weak to silver and can't lie. So I had to tweak that around and figure that stuff out. I'm pretty sure that's the only change I've made. Besides, like, planning for the future. So, in that case, we set our scene after last time, in which the group faced off against a vampire priest of House Momozzi, which is an Aztec vampire house, and they fought the monsters that he had been creating, and after discovering the unique synergy between several of the player characters' abilities, promptly ganked him in like a combat turn. So yeah, that was an experience. So now we rejoin our intrepid heroes, probably like a couple of weeks after their return to New Orleans. You're all doing your thing. You're all going about your business, being prisoners. In this case, Steve Aitchison here. You know, you're all, doing your daily routines, being experimented on and observed by GPC researchers and stuff. When one day, this would be All Hallows Eve, so October 30th, aka the day that this is being filmed. You each receive rather a knock on your prison cell's door, where there is a GPCU soldier in like the standard kind of, black tactical outfit with like a balaclava and goggles and stuff, so you can't see his face. And he hands both of you a scroll that is wrapped in a very nice, like black silk ribbon. And he's like, yeah, this came for you. A raven showed up outside and was calling your name, so here you go. And then he hands it to you and then promptly leaves.
Damn. Fucking FedEx these days. They just keep getting wackier. My package never arrives on time.
Damn.
Magic UPS sucks.
3 years late.
Or it'll arrive like 3 years early, because like it's some weird temporal anomaly. And like, this is going to be useful for like a decade, bro. How are you this bad?
I ordered a death laser 2 decades ago. What the hell?
But yeah, so each of you get this fine piece of parchment rolled up in a black ribbon, supposedly delivered to the Hedgecade headquarters by a raven. Do you open the scroll?
I inspect it. I look at the scroll.
Okay,
Well, I guess Nyx would do it.
Okay, yeah, you look at the scroll. Um, it's a fine piece of parchment. Looks to be not like a modern piece of paper. Like it looks like a medieval, like very, very, very basic kind of like paperish material. Um, and it is inscribed in very, very nice calligraphy, black ink. And in short, it is an invitation to a matinee performance for the opening night of a play happening at the Sanger Theater in New Orleans tonight.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll be attending, sure, I guess.
Okay.
Honestly, any chance to get out of this damned titanium cell is, goes to me.
What a strange sentence. Anything to get out of this damn titanium cell. Okay, yeah. So you read over the scrolls and stuff, and you inform the JPCU guards outside of your cell that like, hey, I want to go to this. I've been invited, and I intend to attend. Um, and the guards are like, all right, well, let me speak to your boss. So they go off and they find JVH, who has also received a letter, a scroll, as has Dr. Boston Brook. So your attendance to the event is confirmed because this is pretty sus thing going on, being delivered via Raven and stuff like that. So yeah, you're all allowed to go. And yeah, I mean, you guys don't really have a. Well, I guess the fairies kind of do because you can like customize your appearance. Um, but in terms of like whether or not you're going to dress up nice for the event or not. Um, but that's up to you personally. Boston certainly is. He always does. So you all, get ready. Go about your rest of your days, and then probably like 4 o'clock, the massive series of doors and security measures are unlocked and deactivated, and you are all let out of your cells. You all get the bomb collars put on you. All these ones are enchanted so as to turn invisible, so you can wander around in public without people being like, "Hey, that guy has a bomb collar on."
It's the new fashion.
Yeah, for sure. The hottest thing in France. So yeah, you all get ready. A JPCU limousine brings you all across town to the Skinner Theater, which is a real place in New Orleans. It's one of those like really big like orchestra halls, the huge like multi-tiered seating and the big stage and everything like that. Very, very nice acoustics, very fancy. And you all get out of the limousine out front, and you see the front of this big building. There's the big like I forget what it's called, but like the board where like they show the names of the shows that are being performed. There's a name for that, but I forget what it is. In this case, the only name on the on that top bit on the board there is, when I get to my notes, is the Tragedy of the Anguished King, which is always lovely. So yeah, you're out front of the Sanger Theater. You guys see these streams of people entering the theater. Pretty much all of them are dressed to the nines, tuxedos, suits, very nice dresses and gowns and everything like that. All climbing the small set of stairs to get inside. Out front, The building itself appears to have been decorated, kind of like a masquerade ball like theme. So there are a number of performers out front of the place that are like putting on like carnival style shows. So there are a couple of like people juggling in like jester outfits. There's one person who's doing like sword swallowing. There's a fire eater out front and stuff, just to kind of like add to the gimmick of it and everything. Yeah, I mean, you've all got your tickets. You've all had your invitations in the form of those scrolls that you all received. So yeah, you're outside. You're on the sidewalk. You've just been dropped off by a limousine. You're all dressed up, very nice. You see this scene in front of you, all the various carnival, like, street performances going on around you. What do?
I perish.
Obviously, since we are invited, Nix is going to enjoy the possibly free food that's there, because she has nothing better to do, and silently judge all the mortals who can't actually swallow fire, who can't actually swallow swords.
Well, give me, in that case, give me a perception check.
A 10.
A 10. Okay, well, Jesus Christ. All right.
And
Starting
our
off
first
strong.
roll. Yeah.
Well, in that case, I'll just give you the big reveal. You clock that these street performers aren't like magicians. They aren't like using like fake swords and they're swallowing the swords. They're not using gimmick
Are they
card
just
tricks.
not human?
Well, they look human. Well, they're all wearing masquerade masks because of the theme. But you see
Okay.
that it isn't that they're stage magicians. They aren't using like sleight of hand. They're all actually casting magic.
They're actually.
Yeah, they're all actually using magic, which isn't that strange. I mean, that being said, like, this is the thing that I had to think about in K2 before is like, what happens to all like the stage magician shows in the world if they're just straight up wizardry? like, who cares about sleight of hand when you can literally just cast like, fireball?
But the whole thing is like to a regular person.
Yeah, it would
That's
be.
still like whoa.
I think
Yeah.
it depends on like how widely known magic is. And,
People know that
they're
it
like,
exists, but it isn't like it's very
But
very
it's
hard
not
to
like
learn. So it's not.
It's not like
okay.
it's like a normal person walking down the street casts mage hand and like
Yeah, it
grabs
isn't-
a paper from the paper stand. Like no.
Yeah, no, it's magic is restricted to people who can attend like the colleges and stuff, for the most part.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so it's still like spectacular. Like, oh my God, Mom, I want to learn magic. It's like, haha, we
Yeah,
don't
like, we
have
can't-
magic in this family.
yeah, we can't afford the hundreds of thousands of
schooling.
dollars required to send
Maybe
you to
someday
magic
you'll
college.
get like a
You'll win the
Walmart
lottery.
magician's kit.
Yeah, like I think like stage magicians and stuff like that are still
Are very much still a thing.
yeah, they're still popular, but not because people think it's magic, but because like the
They
skill
know how to do
involved.
actual sleight of hand.
Yeah, like like oh, I'm just as good as a mage, and I don't actually need magic,
Okay.
Which might
Like
be a
the,
diss on magicians, or like actual wizards who just suck. But
The one thing that I find cool about like magic in K2 is like the psychics that do like, oh, I wrote this down before the show. Like those guys are actually probably psychic.
yeah, like I mean, this is also New Orleans, which is an unusually magic city. Like a lot of people here know magic, like the
Yeah.
psychics and stuff, the palm readers, the voodoo bokors. They are all actual like magic practitioners. People might not realize it because people aren't that knowledgeable in magic, but you all know. You all have like a register of like magic users in the city, and it's a long list. But
Oh yeah, it's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah. So Nix, you clock that these guys are actually casting magic, and you don't even need your magic vision to see it. You can just tell that like the sword swallowers are like actually swallowing legit swords, and like the jugglers are actually summoning cards from like a pocket dimension and aren't just like pulling them out of their sleeves. You know, like it's actually like
Is this your car?
yeah.
Yes. Ah.
So
I think the Knicks will be like,
yeah, not that unusual. I mean, it kind of is for like a carnival. You know, usually magic users are of a higher pay grade than I'm going to put on a street performance. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
bards quite aren't. That's kind of their thing, but these aren't bards, so it is a little bit unusual in that sense. But
every kid's dream, a magic user in a circus.
yeah, you know, magic demon clowns. You know, gotta love it.
Magic.
What about that
demon
free food though?
clowns.
Well, this is like a hoity-toity play. So
This
I
is
don't-
also the entrance.
well, yeah, you're also outside. But yeah, this is so. I think from what I remember, I've only been to one orchestra before. You can get like snacks, and you can get certain kinds of like you know, like wine and stuff. But it all comes
They
in
would
like
also
sippy cups.
probably have like hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, they have hors d'oeuvres like outside and stuff. But in terms of like during the performance, you can get certain things brought to like your seat or whatever. Or if you're in like the boxes and stuff like that, you can get stuff. But it all comes in like child-proof, like plates or like sippy cups because they don't want you spilling wine all over the super expensive seating arrangements and stuff. Or like disturbing. Yeah, you didn't know that.
Yeah.
Same thing on like
No.
Broadway. They give you wine in sippy cups because they don't want you spilling it all over yourself or over their
That's
fine
crazy.
upholstery and like just like disturbing the show basically, which makes perfect sense because knowing people, that would happen. So there is like food you can get, just not like a you know, this isn't the MDRR. You know, you're not going to be able to get like plates of you know, whole pigs brought to you and stuff.
Exactly.
Oh man, Nix was hoping for like a fine skeleton.
Give me your finest grave digging, sir. Whatever you have on tap.
Give me a fine femur, my good lad.
Excuse me, my
and-
good sir. Can I simply have a corpse? Yours, specifically.
Yours. You're a handsome fellow. Die.
Yeah. All right. If that's the
Ouch.
case, then Nix is going to like. Can fairies even get drunk?
Can fairies get actually yeah, because like as I discovered yesterday, cream makes fairies drunk.
Cream?
Yeah. Like whipped cream and
Yes.
stuff makes fairies intoxicated. Which is hilarious to me. So yes, yeah, like I guess it's like
That's so
sugary
fu-
stuff. Because cream is just
I guess.
all sugar. So
So essentially,
yeah.
sugar.
yeah, sugar is like like a drug. And also like fairy dust and like pixie dust is also a drug that fairies need to live. So you're all addicted
I
to something.
remember
in a
that.
way. Yeah.
Man, that means
Glamour.
that when I ask for wine, it's like, can I have whipped cream?
Oh God.
Oh
Oh,
God.
Jesus, that's disgusting.
Actually, you could probably ask for whipped cream vodka
Yeah, probably.
because flavored vodkas are a thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I don't think Nix is trying to get drunk on the job right now.
Yeah, that
Well,
would be
you're not
highly
on the job.
unadvisable.
This is a leisure event. You all got invited specifically to attend this event.
This is true. This isn't a job.
Yeah, well, I mean, it kind
Okay.
of is. It's like kind of because the invitations were brought to you all by ravens on like scrolls, which is not how an
Okay.
orchestra usually invites people to attend a play. So
So sus, but
yeah, but it
We'll still
probably
enjoy.
makes a bit more sense when you guys pick up that the masquerade like carnival guys are magician like actual mages. So you're like, oh, that makes a bit more
does anybody
sense.
else pick up on that? By the way, like,
I don't know. I mean, are the rest of you looking at like being
I'll
like,
look.
okay, then I'll say you just figure it out. You're right.
Oh, because I can see magic.
Well, all of us can, yeah. So we can all just look
Oh,
if
yeah,
you
that's
want to
true.
and just see like, oh, they're all casting evocation spells and conjuration spells and enchantment spells.
Pretty
Okay.
cool.
Yeah. I don't think Bossip cares enough to look.
But I think Nix is gonna be like, well, nah. I'll use you. I don't feel like speaking paper. He's gonna be like, well, I'm gonna be over there in the entrance, getting
Nix
my
will
whipped
be
cream.
over there.
Yeah,
Nix does not speak
I
in a
think Yuna
creepy
in this case
voice.
probably wouldn't be in the cylinder, but she'd probably be like invisible, so as not to draw attention.
I don't know what you're
You're
talking
probably right.
about.
Yuna is like on the collar.
Yeah,
Nix.
like perched
There.
on Nyx's like shoulder or something, just kind of chilling. That's what I figured anyway.
I mean, they got invisible bomb collars, so it's not like she's gonna run away.
Yeah.
This is true.
X,
Nyx
do you
and
look
Yuna.
around and see if people are like to are you looking to see if they're actually casting magic, or do you not care? Nice.
Wait, what's happening?
I'm asking if X looks around to see if if
Oh.
he's curious about if they're casting actual magic, or does he just like whatever they're performers.
It's magic.
I mean, if I notice they're casting magic, I might have something to say, but
Well, I don't know. Are you gonna look to notice, or do you like? Cause if like, because these performers are trying to conceal the fact that they are actually casting magic, right? So unless you are looking to tell if they are or not, then you're not gonna
well then,
immediately
no.
figure it out. Okay, yeah, cool. Then you don't notice. You don't care. You and Boss Superbook are too busy focusing on other things to care. I'd like to pay attention. So yeah, you all enter in through the front door, and you all enter into the kind of like foyer area. There's a couple of benches. There are two like guys doing card tricks in the corner, and then there are four sword dancer performers near the doors to the main seating area, and they're like handing out pamphlets and putting on little shows. Flourishing, like they have short swords that they're twirling around a little bit. Sword swallowing, stuff like that, doing fun tricks, juggling. Pretty standard stuff. You know, I can provide the map of the place as well. I have it
Okay.
on TTS, but I can.
Do we have numbers on our cards where we say?
Yes, you guys do. You guys would. You guys are seats 1 through 5. Was it 6 or 5? 1 through 6. So you guys have like the front row of seats.
Okay.
So you guys are in area 2 right now.
I think Nyx is gonna go around looking at what snacks they have.
Yeah, you can get like peanuts and little hors d'oeuvres. Like
And fairy dust?
no, that is not. That is not. No, they don't have magic cocaine
That
just
would
chilling.
not be good.
Yeah.
That would not be good for them to give
Man.
normal people.
Yeah, glamour, like
Alright.
with normal people, does weird things, including like prevent aging and stuff like that, like it does in fairies. So it's not. It's like demon ash. Like you don't mess with that stuff. Like, that's like the hardest drug you could possibly take.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll take a couple peanuts, I guess.
Take a couple penis. Nice.
Peanuts.
Glad I wasn't the only one who heard that.
I never said that. Jeez, did my mic cut out or something?
Yeah.
No, I
At
just
the
wanted
wrong
to,
time,
to
huh?
mock you for saying cock and balls.
Oh yeah.
But yes, you guys go around. There are like also like waiters also dressed in like masquerade masks, with like plates of like glasses of champagne and little appetizer like crackers with like the like salmon and stuff on them and things like that. Little
Cheese?
yeah, cream cheese,
Oh,
little
Nyx is gonna like.
cheese platters.
Cream cheese.
She's gonna take a whole platter of just crackers and cheese. Just
Yeah, you're all. Yeah, this is. Yeah, I feel like I have an impressive. Like, this is like a super high class environment. Like, people are all talking in hushed tones. everybody's voice is all like, oh yes, they're all pompous and arrogant or British or pretending to be British, or they're like that really like high class hoity-toity like Southern accent, like Texan oil baron kind of Southern accent.
Well,
Well, I do declare, they're all
See,
very fancy, and then you guys are here
Nick's
just like, oh, a whole
yeah.
platter of cheese. Yes.
Hell yeah.
hey,
See,
what's
Nyx
up,
isn't gonna
guys?
like, but Nyx isn't gonna wolf down cheese because she's gotta share with Yuna. So she's gotta do it in a way where like invisible Yuna's gonna pick it before it enters her mouth.
Ah, I see, yeah.
But
Have a
she's
little
still gonna
nibble.
have a whole platter of crackers and cheese.
Yeah, so Nyx is just scarfing down like an inhuman amount of food off in one corner, and like you get some weird
Course.
looks from like the concert goers that are like,
That
Kinda
wasn't. That was
strange.
for more people.
And that platter could have fed everybody here, and it's gone in one bite, single chomp. Also, yeah, I think Battlecock has like a little tiny tuxedo on, and people definitely give him weird looks, but I think like Bosterbook looms over them the second they do, and you're like, oh, okay, sorry, sir, didn't mean to disturb you.
Not to. Didn't mean to question your chicken.
Yeah, it's an emotional support animal for X.
Well,
So
some Brooke just goes like, "You dare question my cock?"
yeah. Got something to say, buddy? Draws a sword. Have at me. Cleaves the governor in two.
Oh, perfect.
Hey, Governor.
Yeah. So yeah. And after like 20 minutes, you all get called into the main room. And you all take your seats in the front row. That would be area 4, but like the area 4 closer to area 6. There are a lot of people here. I don't quite know how many people are here.
Oh yeah. I also want to point out, I am wearing like my normal attire, but I am wearing a pair of black Air Force Ones.
Okay, so you're like that kind of like ghetto rich look, like rapper rich,
No, I'm wearing like my normal like black lab coat and everything.
You're just also
I
wearing
just
shoes.
Yeah, I'm just also wearing like black Air Force Ones. It's no big thing.
Yeah, Buster's got like a black
Definitely ghetto
tuxedo on.
rich.
Yeah, for sure. Ghetto rich.
Definitely ghetto rich.
Yeah.
Well, I've got like a tie and all that, but
You're wearing black Air Force Ones. The moment
Yeah,
your shoes
what
aren't
of it?
fancy, ghetto rich.
Yeah, immediately.
yeah, what of it? But they're in perfect condition.
I don't think you understand. It doesn't matter. You could be wearing perfect condition Air Force like edition 1, first off the shelf. Ghetto rich.
Yeah, that's exactly what they are, though.
It's so
Ghetto
ghetto
rich.
Whatever. Whatever. I own more stock in this company than either of you combined, so.
Yeah, because both of us have 0.
Yeah,
You're not,
0 plus 0 is
you're
0.
not one upping anything.
Yeah. I mean, Bosterbook, he's got like a black tuxedo on. He has like a fancy sheath for Life's Limit. So it's not like the brown leather one. It's actually like a nice, sleek, black, shiny, like metal sheath and stuff that he uses for formal occasions. He did bring his gun, but it's concealed behind his tuxedo jacket. He looks very nice. He has his like beard all trimmed and styled and everything. People recognize him constantly. Like everybody here knows who he
famous?
is, because he is literally a
Do you
celebrity.
write a book or something?
Yeah, he has books, he has movies. K2's version of Indiana Jones is Boston Brook, so the films are about him. So people know who he is, and also Boston Brook is he's a philanthropist, so people all the politicians know who he is, all the rich people know who he is. All he's a huge like sponsor of like the arts and stuff. He's donated millions of dollars to like colleges and to art programs and to scholarship funds and all this stuff. So everybody here knows who he is. They all walk
Like
up
a
and shake his hand.
tax write-off.
Pretty much, yeah. because he also is involved in like magic item smuggling and like all this horribly dangerous magic stuff. But they don't know that. Well, it's kind of like some people know it, but not the full story.
Hush, hush.
It's like
yeah.
it's like a hushed fact.
Yeah, like they won't say it out loud, but they all know like Boston had to make his money somehow. And the movies about him are about how he goes and hunts monsters for a living. So people know he's a mage, know that he means business. They just don't know that he's also like a smuggler of like magic items, and he has like the world's like 5th biggest collection of magic artifacts and whatever. So yeah, they all like walk up to him and shake hands and stuff, and he's like schmoozing the whole time. Then you guys
Of course.
walk into the main room. I'll take your seats. Boss pulls out those like opera binoculars, even though you're in the front row and like 15 feet from the stage.
He's just doing it to look snazzy.
Exactly. He pinky up, all that stuff. He has like a nice cup of tea with him. I don't know how he got it. He didn't get it from a waiter. He just appeared with it. So yeah, you're all seated down. There are a lot of people here. It isn't totally a packed house. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 9 empty seats in this place. Right on the ground level. So
That's pretty packed then.
Yeah, a lot of people.
One for the player, right?
Yeah. So,
Wow, I'm not asked if I get anything.
Well, I assume you do.
I do, yeah.
Crack.
No, what? No.
You go and you smoke some meth in the background in the bathroom of this.
Absolutely. Of course, you know me so well.
Yeah, for sure.
Damn.
No.
Maybe changed his name to Barry.
Barry's actual name isn't Barry the Bullet. It's Jason Van Helsing.
I almost stabbed myself.
Only almost. What a shame.
Yeah, I almost hit myself with my own wood.
Hot.
Okay.
Nice.
So this opera show, Nix is gonna sit there and be like, I think Nix is gonna sit next to Boston Brook because it just so happened that was the seating. And Nix is gonna be like, Nix wonders when show will start.
And Boston's like,
You're Spanish now?
Hola, I am a Spanish fairy. See.
Hola, sí, yes. Trip to Mexico, very great.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I should note that
Ole!
Battlecock does get a seat to himself, of course. So
Hey.
he's in a little chair. And they give him like corn, to like nibble on, a little like platter. This is a very all inclusive, very not very hip, very woke opera house. They accommodate people of all races and walks of life, including smart chickens.
They include people of all species, including chickens.
Yeah, chickens, fairies, demons, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, Boss was like, oh yes, the church should start shortly. And it usually is a few minutes to get the band warmed up, and then the lights will go down and the play will begin in earnest. So yeah, you guys wait like 5-10 minutes, and then eventually the lights go dim, and the play begins. With Act
I'll
1.
sit there with my cup of wine because you never continued.
You get your little sippy cup of wine. Boston Break has a sippy cup of whiskey. So
I also have like one of those like just platters of like fancy cheese and crackers.
you've all just robbed the kitchen. You just found the nearest waiter and were like, mine. And they're like, what? Okay.
Well, like it's like a personal platter of cheese and crackers.
Okay. I got
Yes.
Like,
It's not like I just went to it's not like I just went to a waiter and was like, yeah, this is mine now.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks, buddy. No, I actually ordered this.
Great. Okay. So yeah, you got that. Boston Brook has his sippy cup of whiskey, but it's like it isn't just it's like bourbon. Like it's expensive. Not all this Flask produces. It's like top shelf stuff.
So it is like one step up from whiskey, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
So he can feel even more entitled.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Are you telling me Boston Brook isn't drinking cheap swill at this fancy event?
Yeah, my friend actually is just chugging like motor oil, straight up motor oil. Just
It is just straight up ethanol at this point.
yeah, rubbing alcohol. It's just it's so smooth.
I feel so much more important than everybody here.
Yeah. I don't drink whiskey because I think I'm better than everybody. I drink whiskey because I am better than everybody. So yeah, he's having a good time, pretending to be manly with his whiskey. Well, isn't pretending, he is a badass, but he's also an old man. So, and I should note that he also has like a cane with him that he's walking on as if he's like a crippled old man, even though you all know he is not a crippled old man. Which is always nice. So yeah, the play begins. It opens during the coronation of a new king who goes by the name of Gonzalo. Gonzalo begins a speech with a toast to the assembled nobility, and then he leaves. And then, kind of like the wife of the previous king, which would also make it Gonzalo's new wife, a woman named Isabella, is blasted drunk on the wine at this coronation ceremony, and she goes on this long rant, confessing to some of the wait staff, the servants, and the nobles, that her late husband, an Italian king named Sforza, did not die in his sleep as was reported. Instead, while on retreat in the countryside, he was fed a sleeping poison by her, and then murdered by Gonzalo and his fellow conspirators.
No.
Yeah, it's very much like Hamlet, so far anyway. And then, as a final show of disrespect, the conspirators hanged the previous king Sforza like a common criminal from a tree near the cabin in the woods. Isabella goes on to proclaim that Antonio, a minor noble visiting the king's court for the first time, is actually her and Sforza's illegitimate son, and therefore the rightful heir to the throne. She collapses from whatever, drunkenness, and is taken off stage by her servants. I need you all to make me a perception check. And I'll make one for Boston Brook.
Alright. That is an 8.
Okay. Boston Brook got a 1. He is drunk off whiskey.
Of course. Well, I don't know what I expected.
5
Okay.
and another 5.
Great.
Ooh,
And 9. All right. Those of you who passed, which I think is everybody but Boston Brook, you all see while Isabella is ranting off like her nonsense, there is a silhouetted like shadow against the wall off to the left side of stage left is what it is. A strange shadow, and then when Isabella gets carried off stage by her servants, the shadow disappears. It kind of like walks.
It's ominous.
Yeah, ominous indeed. After Isabella is dragged off stage, hold on, I have to get back to my notes. Nope, that's not what I want. That's also not what I want. Apparently, I literally cannot type. I am simply illiterate.
Apparently.
Where is... This is what I want. Okay. All right, so after Isabella is carried off stage, the curtain is drawn. We open up on a new scene. This time, a servant named Francisco is asking the protagonist, Antonio, if he believes the Queen's story, Isabella's story. Antonio makes light of the situation, and then they exit. Back in Antonio's rented lodgings, Francisco attempts to barter with a courtesan. Antonio enters, clearly in shock. He reports that, while offstage, he saw the ghost of Sforza, his father, who confirmed his parentage and the Queen's description of his grisly death at the hands of the conspirators.
Mm.
You all see that shadow again while he's talking about the ghost as well. Gonzalo, the new king, having learned of Isabella's confession, consults with his fellow conspirators. One of them, a servant named Lodovico, confirms that at least 3 people witnessed the Queen's breakdown. The Duke of Sortino, another Italian city, his daughter, Alinda, and a priest named Cornari. Gonzalo immediately begins to plan the murder or capture of all 3 in order to cover up the truth. He orders Isabella to be locked up in a convent, with the story put out that the Queen went insane. Isabella, uncharacteristically, meekly accepts Gonzalo's judgment without any objection. The usurper then exits, having an appointment with someone he calls the ambassador from Alagada. Back in their lodgings in the city, Francisco and Antonio discuss news of the Queen's imprisonment at the convent. Together, they plan their revenge. That's the beginning of Act 2. Act 3 opens with, a noble lord who's allied with one of the conspirators, named Petruchio, and Gonzalo invite the Duke Sortino to a dinner. It's also at this point that Gonzalo and Petruchio kill Sortino during the meal. They poison him to death. Then Gonzalo orders his cooks to chop up and prepare the corpse as a stew. He then orders Sortino's daughter, Alinda, who witnessed the murder, to be locked up in the same convent as Isabella. You all would also see at this point, as they are killing the Duke, you see this kind of like the right half of a a shadowy humanoid shape standing like partially in view, partially out of view, like half on stage, half behind stage. And then when they finish killing the dude, the figure disappears again.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So when that figure appears,
Mm-hmm.
can I register any magic coming from it?
Register any magic? No, you cannot. You do feel, however, that when the figure appears, reality kind of, like whenever he's present on stage, you feel like this kind of like tingling in the back of your mind that says that like reality is a little bit wonky.
Off?
Yeah, like a 9 out of 10. It's a 10, like normally it's a 10 out of 10, but when the figure
Okay.
is there, it goes to like a 9. So something is like
Something's
weird,
off.
but not
Something's off, but it's not like
like
the
huge.
end of the world
yeah,
off.
Yeah, it's not like somebody
It's
is
just-
rewriting history or something in the back room of his play. It's
Yeah.
minor at the most. Act 3, Scene 2 begins with Antonio faking insanity in order to also be admitted to that same convent. Warned of Antonio's coming, Isabella and her loyal servant Beatrice prepare to murder him using a draft of poison. Antonio sees through their plan as he discusses with Isabella and forces her to drink the poison instead, killing her. Which
Just a no you card?
well, yeah, especially I'm pretty sure I can actually read it. Let's see. No, where is it? This is the wrong document for this. It is.
So he just no use her.
Yeah, he forces her to drink the poison instead. He gets up and like force feeds it to her basically. It's pretty brutal. It's not like a clever reverse. No, it's a pretty rough. It's
Like, oh, I've switched our cups of wine.
yeah, no, it's not like a Princess Bride thing. No, it's just I force you
You
to drink
fool!
this.
You've fallen for the oldest plunder.
Yeah, one of the classic blunders. Never get involved in a land war in Asia, and never deal with a Sicilian when death's on the line.
See, unluckily for you, he's Sicilian.
Yeah. Actually, they are. This takes place in Italy, so they
See,
could
there
be
you go.
Sicilian. You never know.
No, just he is Sicilian.
He's the
in
only
particular.
character who is Sicilian. Antonio is Sicilian.
He is the only character that is Sicilian. Actually, that's a very Sicilian name, so you never know.
Yeah, true. Let's see. How is this described?
I know a few Antonios who are Sicilians. So.
Yeah, so he forces the boat to drink the poison instead, killing her.
Oh God.
Where is it? It's over here. Yep, kills her with the poison. That same shadowy figure appears close on stage left as Antonio kills Isabella. Then after that scene, the next scene in Act 3, the final one in Act 3, is Antonio's servant, Francisco, gets lost trying to find Antonio in the convent and ends up freeing Alinda, the daughter of the murdered duke, by accident from her prison cell.
Just on
just
accident.
like, oh well, yeah, it's he's looking for Antonio and he stumbles upon, like, he opens his cell thinking that it's him, but it's not, and Act 4 opens back in the palace with the new king Gonzalo reporting to fellow conspirator Ludovico that Gonzalo has, in exchange for an unstated tribute, obtained a powerful and tasteless poison from the ambassador of Alagata. Gonzalo seems to nod to the ambassador, who is following him around on stage, like fully on stage. It's probably the first moment you guys think something's kind of weird, because this character, the ambassador of Alagata, is tall, like 6.5 feet tall, like big. Like lean, skinny. Most prominently, he is covered from head to toe in bandages. And there are like metal, like iron rings that are like acting as like the center points for the knots to keep the bandages around him. And he's just like silently following around Gonzalo, like as he walks across the stage back and forth, And then when Gonzalo's talking to Ludovico and he mentions getting the poison from the ambassador, he turns and he nods to the ambassador sitting next to him, which is the first time that someone has acknowledged his presence on stage.
The shadow.
Yeah. Gonzalo then says he plans to poison the stew made from the Duke of Sortino's corpse and feed it to the entire court, thus ensuring the suppression of the truth. Ludovico leaves the stage to carry out their plan. Gonzalo then, in a soliloquy, expresses concern that his tribute will not be enough for the ambassador, but is nonetheless unable to deviate from the path he has set. And then the lights go down. That scene ends. Next scene, cut over, as Francisco introduces Alinda, the daughter of the murdered duke, to Antonio, all three having escaped the convent. Alinda describes her father's murder in grisly terms. Antonio promises to marry her and make her his queen as soon as his revenge is complete. At this point, the ambassador character enters the stage as Antonio leaves to secure a blade, a dagger, for his coup. Rather than exiting, Antonio stops in front of the ambassador, who hands him a very long and incredibly ornate dagger, like a stiletto, like a huge, like foot-long dagger. The ambassador and Antonio then both leave stage right together. Next scene is a comedic interlude between an unnamed palace guard and that priest, Korner, who witnessed the murder. At the end of the scene, Ludovico and the ambassador enter from stage right, and Ludovico bids Korner to follow him. They leave together, and the priest is not seen on stage again, because he dies. And that's the end of Act 4. Act 5 opens as the guests arrive at Gonzalo's new banquet. He offers a toast, this time to the ambassadors of the foreign nations who have been collected. The meal is served. However, before it can begin, Antonio enters bearing a piece of parchment, which he describes as an invoice from the ambassador of Alagada, proving that Gonzalo owes more tribute than he intends to pay. The ambassador then enters at this point from stage right. The entire cast seems to acknowledge it and see it. Gonzalo then stands up, curses as an aside to the audience, and runs for stage left. The rest of the cast, including Alinda and Francisco, who enter from stage left together, they all physically restrain Gonzalo and drag him back onto stage. The ambassador moves to center stage, where he is kind of stood in front of the king's throne. Afterwards, a noose just appears from above the stage, and it kind of like falls from like the rafters in front of the throne. The cast drag Gonzalo over to the noose, and as he begins to curse in Italian, which none of you speak, and a little bit in Latin, which I think 3 of the 4 of you speak.
I speak. I know I speak it.
Yeah, you speak it, Wasper speaks it, and X would have to speak it because that's what, like, a lot of the church's summoning rituals are in and stuff like that. So in Latin, you pick up that he describes, like, what you imagine is, like, part of, like, a longer curse that he's just kind of, like, merging languages from.
Yeah.
But what you pick up, it's something to the effect of, like, God, what would it be? It would be something to the effect of, like, may, oh, God. Sorry. May the blood of, all of your sins, run through the streets of this city and curse the ground forever and, salt the earth and all that stuff. Pretty standard, over-the-top, dramatic Italian swearing. The noose is then drawn taut, and the cast drops Gonzalo from the platform that his throne is on, and he begins to asphyxiate on stage.
Is he actually asphyxiating? Like,
Make me a perception check.
that is 10.
A 10. Yeah. Yeah. He's actually dying.
Oh!
And as Gonzalo begins to choke to death, actually being hanged, Antonio, who's sitting next to him, speaks, with this, he says, the tribute in full it is paid. He then takes this giant, not giant, but this stiletto dagger, and he draws it across Gonzalo's stomach, cutting his intestines out and spilling them all across the stage. Alinda then takes the dagger from Antonio. She says, with this fool's blood, it is the hanged king's. And she cuts Antonio's throat open. And he, begins gargling. He doesn't actually,
Is he
collapse.
actually dead?
It's very unnatural because she cuts his throat and he's like, but he's not staggering. He's just stood stark still, just bleeding, incredible amounts, as you would if your throat gets cut open. After Antonio's throat gets cut,
I'm gonna look to the others in the group, be like, so are we gonna do our job?
Are we gonna what? This is a good
murdered
show.
on stage.
I'm
it's this is the
entertained.
good part. What are you talking about?
I'm gonna turn to Boston Brook and be like, Boston Brook, a little bit of help here.
And he looks over and he's like, well, this is the best part.
Yeah, a man is being disemboweled on stage. I don't think this is the good part.
No, let's see where this goes.
I swear, Boston Brook, if this causes the loss of human life, you're paying for it.
I'm gonna have Boston Brook roll to see if he picks up that the deaths are legit.
Someone is actually dying right now.
I got a 3.
Nix,
I don't know if that
I
passes
think
or fails.
Nix and Yuna will definitely, since it's a quiet thing, they'll totally be laughing. Not enough to, get the crowd.
I think Nyx would, but Yuna wouldn't, because Yuna is Sealy Core, so she's a harmless trickster, but Nyx is
Yes.
haha, I like torturing mortals.
Yeah, I think Nyx would definitely be like her inner monologue, which is not third person. She's like, oh, what if I was there as a actor to receive his skeleton?
Yeah, but Osterbeck does not tell that the deaths are real. He fails.
I don't know what I can do then. What about X? Is X gonna notice anything? Like, does X at least see that these are real deaths?
I
Huh?
mean, I can roll. I
Yeah,
don't
you
think
go
it's gonna
again.
change much of my response, but
You're like, sick.
it's a 4.
A 4. Let me see if that passes. A 4, a 4. It does barely. So yeah, you have a suspicion. Like, damn, these special effects, top notch.
I think Yuna will roll. She got
What is
Yeah, I'm
Two.
just gonna be like, why you gotta be such a prude,
I
JVH?
mean,
We're having a
Yuna
good time. This is a high quality
Yuna's
show.
yeah, Yuna's not gonna do anything. Nyx is like the only morally correct person in this seating.
Yes, correct, because there is human life being lost. So yeah.
They have magic. We all saw that in the beginning. So it's
Yeah,
magic.
but there is a
It's magic.
loss of human life
It's just the draft.
currently.
It's just the draft.
Nyx will literally look at you and Nyx goes, Nyx sees magic. Nyx, it's fine.
I'll look up at the stage. Is there any magic being done?
That's a good question. I think there would be, yeah. You blink and your eyes glow a little bit as you attune your senses to the magical spectrum, and you see that the entirety of this, like, concert hall is filled with enchantment magic.
That ain't the kind of magic I was looking for.
Specifically, though, you do notice that the enchantment magic covers everyone and everything except for you.
Oh no. Oh
I
no.
mean, out of character, I'm pretty sure we all knew what was happening. But in character, best
Yeah.
show of my life right
Yeah, bro, for sure. She casts Antonio's throat.
Can I determine the stability of reality?
At this point, like a 7. It's getting a little bit more unstable.
That is not good.
Yes, she cuts Antonio's throat. At that
Can I
point,
cast? Can
Yeah.
I cast Speak No Evil?
speak no evil. Let me pull that one up. Let's see. A hex on the target.
User places a hex on a
Yeah.
target within.
Cannot swear to anything negative or aggressive out towards anyone. Anything other than active. So they can't say anything bad, and they can't cast spells with a vocal component, which is most
Yes.
spells. Who are you targeting with that?
Who's currently talking in the play?
Currently talking in the play. I think it's Alinda is currently talking,
Then on Alinda.
or like the actress playing Alinda, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so you does that require a check of any kind? Let me look.
Requires an endurance check to determine success. Effect remains for 5 combat turns.
See, run me that endurance check.
That is an 8.
Okay, so you, are you trying to cast this spell subtly, or are you just going for it?
Subtly.
Okay, give me an agility check then to stealthily cast this spell.
That is a 10.
Dang, okay. Not even your companions see you cast this spell. Not even Battlecock does it. He's right next to you. No, nobody clocks this. So you cast this spell. You wave your hands. You make a high ho under your breath, and we actually find her lines. So we are at this point. So she she just said, with this fool's blood, it is the Hand King's. She cuts Antonio's throat. Ropes drop from the roof of the stage, a noose for each cast member. The cast then begins to walk underneath the nooses. And Linda goes to say something, and you cast this spell at her, and she kind of like and she kind of like gets like frog in her throat, like it gets stuck. She can't say it.
Because
How
if
would
she can't say her line, then the play cannot continue.
how would this? Because this would be weird. So yeah, she's like trying to like keep saying this, like keep finishing her lines, but she can't. So she's just like choking to death, like she's asphyxiating, trying to keep talking, but like she. You really find that she's being compelled to talk, so she doesn't have a choice about like she can't stop basically. So she's just like, like stuttering and stuff, trying to get these words out, but she can't.
Well, the play cannot continue if she cannot speak, so...
I'm just gonna stare at this, and I'm gonna look over to the other guys, and I'm gonna be like, "So, do you guys think this is like part of the script or what?"
I think Nix is gonna be like, Nix does not understand this mortal play. Just say the words.
Busterman's gonna look over and be like, yeah, they probably should have had to do like vocal exercises before the play started. Get the frogs out of your throat beforehand or something.
This is very unprofessional. We should make a complaint, honestly.
It is.
And Yuna's gonna like speak quietly, be like, "Ah, how could they? Ruined my cheese."
Uh,
You ruined your teeth with what? The entrails?
I'm going to stand, and I'll turn to the others and be like, "Excuse me, I must use the lavatory." In reality, I'm going to see backstage to see where these nooses are coming from.
The effect remains for 5 combat turns, or until you lose concentration, or the spell effect is dispelled.
And
Yes.
JV is shot.
Yeah, out of nowhere, JVH gets instantly ganked. Okay. So you sit there for like a good 12 seconds. And you're like, as the group is like, it's really unprofessional. We should put in a complaint. This is not what we didn't pay for. All that kind of thing. And as you go to stand, you're like, all right, I'm gonna, go to the bathroom, guys. Give me a minute. The woman, vomits up. Looks, the kind of pearlescent effect that oil has.
Yeah.
She vomits up like a black, oily ichor. But it's like a mucusy semi-solid gelatinous ball. It's like a tennis ball sized, and she vomits it up, and then she continues with her line. That being, her next line is, "With this our blood, it is the hanged kings." And at that point, the whole cast hang themselves.
Unfortunate.
And they die. Well, begin dying anyway. At this point, the character of the ambassador of Alagata, he moves from the back of the stage where the throne is, and he kind of pushes to the front, moving the bodies aside like they're like a curtain, like he doesn't even pay attention to them. And he gets to the center of the stage. Same time, a thick mist and a fog begins to roll from underneath the curtains, all the way, the back curtains, that are black to hide people moving back and forth. A really thick fog begins to emit from those curtains back there. And the ambassador, he walks up to the front of the stage, and he takes a very deep bow as the fog kind of rolls off the edge of the stage and begins to coat the ground where you guys are sitting. And as the ambassador takes a deep bow, the whole crowd just erupts in applause and cheering and yelling and praise and whistling and stomping their feet. It's just like a madhouse all of a sudden, instantly. What do the rest of you do?
Huh, huh.
Honestly, I'll
Just
stand up. I'll start clapping. I'm not gonna like cheer. I'm not gonna whistle. That kind of thing where the actor vomited on stage is kind of weird. You know, took it down a notch. It was still good overall.
I'm still gonna try and see backstage.
Okay. So you, um, okay. Uh, Okay. So everybody stands up and you're all cheering and everything. And you also stand up. You don't cheer, and you start moving to, like towards like the like stairs at the edge of the stage, where you could, walk up and stuff. And get backstage. And as you move to do so, you hear a voice echo in your head that says, I wouldn't do that if I were you.
I'm gonna keep going.
Okay. You keep going. And you're like, all right, I'm not gonna be perturbed by this. So you reach.
I'm not gonna be threatened by some unseen, unknown anomaly that is probably weaker than I am.
So you reach the stairs. There's like side stairs that give you access to the stage, and you put one foot down on the first stair, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, the ambassador is standing in front of you on the stairs. But he is now taller than he was before. He's like 7.5 feet tall, unnaturally long arms and legs. He's just standing over you, and like because of the angle that you're standing, there are two of him. Like there's the one in front of you on the stairs, and there's the guy bowing in the center stage.
Move aside.
The ambassador, he kind of looms over you really far because he's super tall. By the way, the rest of you do not see the second ambassador. You only see the one guy in the center. He looms over you, and he's like, well, if it isn't the champion, I'm glad that you got my invitation and then you took me up on my offer. That doesn't mean you have an excuse to disturb my beautiful finale.
Yes, but you are harming innocent lives, so I must interject.
He's like, oh, please, you and I both know the lives of mortals mean nothing. Watch. And he snaps his fingers, and the whole crowd that were all cheering, going crazy, their cheers of gratitude and appreciation turn into maddened screams and crazed laughter as they begin, like, Kingsman church scene style, like, killing each other. Like, choking each other, beating each other up, stabbing each other with, like, forks and knives and, like, smashed champagne flutes and stuff like that. Everybody roll initiative. As all hell has
Very
broken
well.
loose. I can also...
do I have my sword on me?
Yeah, so you guys have your
Okay.
gear.
That is a 10. This guy can get fucked.
A 10 for GBH. That's a 15 initiative.
I'll turn to him, hand on my sword, and tell him, once we do inevitably beat you, you will be coming into our custody.
Rook. And I will roll. Do you want me to roll for Battle Cocky Savior, or are you going to do that?
I'll roll.
Cool. The ambassador rolled pretty dang good. He got a 17 in total.
I got a 10 on my roll.
Yeah, let me look at the chat.
My agility is 5, so I have 15.
6 on the dice for Kyle. Total of 13. And then I will roll for... Yeah, I'll roll for the villains, the enemies. Wow. Great job. That's a 1 for the shufflers. Six. And they go, wow. Great. 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 2 plus 4 is also 6. Wow, these guys are not rolling well. Oh, now that guy is.
What is it? The patrons?
Well, no, the patrons I'm counting as just like they aren't necessarily like they don't have like initiative. They're just kind
Combatants.
of there. Yeah, like they're combatants, but they aren't involved in the combat you are involved in, basically.
Oh, okay.
8 plus 6 is 14, so that guy rolled. The Jugglers rolled pretty well. So I will mark down the Jugglers and then the Sword Dancers. What do they get? 9 on the dice. Plus 7, so 16 as well. Alright, what does X get? Javier? Do you breathe? Javier, what is your initiative?
Speak, mortal.
Sorry, I had to step out for a bit.
Wow, how dare you?
What's going on?
What's your initiative?
Initiative.
Oh, yes. 8 for Zozuzen and 10 on the die for Battlecock, which is like a 12 and 16 respectively, I think.
12 and 16. Cool. Alright, so up first is the Ambassador, unsurprisingly, because he is dummy fast.
Actually, now that I think about it, ooh, I should roll another die, because if Battlecock has different agility in different forms, so he could match with the Ambassador.
He could.
This is true.
Yeah, sure. Roll your personality for Battlecock.
All right, that's a 9. Let's see, what is it?
I think a 9 is the
Oh,
serial killer,
it's
so you
the
actually
serial
do
killer.
match.
Oh god.
Actually, hold up. Oh, I supersede the Ambassador.
Oh god.
Oh,
I have 8 agility with Battlecock.
you have
And
8 with
killer.
the serial killer? Oh my god, you beat the Ambassador, who can literally multi-locate. Jesus. Okay. Sure, in that case, Battlecock is up first.
All right. So, I guess everyone's just raging in general, and all the fun stuff is happening on stage.
Yeah, so the whole crowd has gone mad. You would also hear the doors close and lock. So you're all trapped in here. And then there is the Ambassador on stage, and you can hear stuff happening behind like the initial curtain, like where the smoke is coming from. Like moving, you can hear like movement and shuffling and stuff back there as well. TVH is over here. So yeah, should also note that each square on the map that I provided is 10 feet. So. And I can share my screen. I don't know how effective it'll be because it'll lag out the recording and the stream, but provide some kind of reference for what's going on. I guess I should also do make all these guys red now because they are all evil.
Evil.
Terribly evil. Terribly. How many enemies are we going up against, by the way?
Depends on if you count the crowd as all enemies or not.
Minus the crowd.
What you can see, one. Just the ambassador. Or the guy whose character is called the ambassador.
Is that the one that spoke to JVH?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, in any case, I guess it is time for me to begin approach velocity.
All right. So where's Battlecock gonna go? Are you gonna like jump up on stage?
Probably, just engage the ambassador, start getting some licks in.
15, 20, 25, 6, 7. You can just get there with an agility of 8. As you are the serial killers. You do have like Battlecock's like strongest abilities to unleash on this guy.
All right. Now, I'm not going to use the insta-kill. I don't think he is in range for that.
I don't know. Maybe you should
But-
try. Maybe you should.
I don't know.
Give it a chance.
Maybe you're right on top of him.
Maybe he only has like 2 health. You know, who knows?
Maybe. I guess the only thing I can really do that's not brutalized is going to be chain pain.
Interesting.
Chain pain. Well, you could do like.
I mean, I guess I could try and like fear him, but I have a feeling that's probably
Not
the
going to
best.
work.
Depends on the check that's required because he's immune to sanity, as you would imagine. But he's not immune to like intelligence.
Actually,
Fear.
apparently this isn't a check. It just happened.
It just happens.
It's an innate effect.
Let me look.
The frightening effect, it doesn't have a check. It just occurs.
Oh.
Let's see. This is fried
KFV.
violence. Yeah, scaring enemies in battlefield, dealing disadvantage on trips 26 times. Yeah, no, that just happens. That is really powerful.
Jeez.
Probably should have updated that with a resistance check, but that's fine. I have to check if they're. I think he might be immune to fear. I know that his goons are immune to fear, but I forget if he is. The crowd's not, so that's fun.
Well, I think I will just go for the safe option, and I'll attack with chain pain.
Chain pain. Alrighty, that is. Unleash a rapid series of pecks at an enemy, dealing 3d with 100 damage. If the victim is overkilled by 100 or more, Battlecock can make this ability again for free, able to stack infinitely. Requires endurance check to win success. This is difficult because I don't know how many attacks a rapid series of pecks counts as for dodging purposes.
Oh, he's a monk, right? So just think
Yeah,
about how many
like a
times he can
billion.
attack.
Like a billion. Yeah, I'll just say that the ambassador's just not going to try to dodge this. He's just going to let Battlecock attack him because he's like, oh, chicken, gonna come up to me, like that JoJo thing. It's like, oh, you come closer, you approach
You're
me.
approaching me.
It's like I can't meet your ass. It's like getting closer. Yeah, it's he's like that. Like, this is the chicken that's sprinted across the stage to get to me. So yeah, just do 300 damage. Well, yes, the endurance check first, and then 300 damage.
All right. Endurance is gonna be a 9.
Okay, definitely passes. Do that damage.
Yikers. Only 150.
That's perfectly average. What do you mean?
That is
I coulda gotten-
exactly half of
coulda
what
gotten
you could have done.
Yeah. All right. So Battlecock just and the ambassadors he's like still bowing. He doesn't even acknowledge Battlecock's presence. And Battlecock rocks up to him and just like those big like comical like angry eyebrows because he's in his serial killer mode. He just walks up, strutting his stuff. And then he just machine gun pecks the ambassador's like shin. And he hurts him. The ambassador literally just does not react. Like there is no reaction, no acknowledgement of the damage you just did. You did it, but he just doesn't care. So that's Battlecock's turn. Up next is Ashley. No, I'll stand by my decision. He does the damage. So yeah, so he gets pecked at. It is the ambassador's turn. Who boy? I want to know how many abilities he's got.
1.
69.
Let's see how many he has. 1, 2, 3.
So
4, 5,
so
6,
which
7,
ambassador
8,
are
10,
we
11,
talking
12,
about here?
14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 minimum abilities that he's got. Which ambassador?
Yeah, the one that I'm talking to, or
the one in the
on
one center
stage?
stage. One center stage. The others can't see the second one that you're talking
So
to.
only I can see the second one.
Yeah. He's going to. How big of a threat does he think this chicken is?
Probably not much.
Yeah, probably not much.
So is he just gonna keep bowing?
I mean, he could. He's not going to try to hang the chicken, because I think is just a bit overkill in his mind.
What do you mean? That's not overkill at all.
This could be really funny.
Hang the chicken.
No, it's going to do something different than chicken. So he, without moving, makes Battlecock levitate 30 feet in the air.
Nice. I start clapping. Oh, these special effects, they're really good.
They're really, really just top notch. Yeah, so he just makes him levitate. So now he can't move because he's levitated in the air. That is the wrong one. Here we go. So yeah, he just makes him. That's his first action. Just makes Battlecock levitate. Regardless. So that's his first action. His second action, he thinks the JVH is going to be a jerk. That's what I think he thinks.
Yeah. I don't know what made him think otherwise.
He's not going to do that. You're not going to do that yet. Not going to do that. Not going to bother doing that. Can't do that. Can't do that. JVH, have you drawn your weapon yet, or are you just like walking up?
I'm about to.
Okay, so that doesn't count. So he can't do that either. In that case, Ambassador, I need you, JVH, to make me an endurance. So at 1d10 at disadvantage,
Okay.
plus your endurance stat versus his 1d10 plus his willpower.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll real dice because I don't want to lag my game out even more.
I got an 8 and a 9.
So he got a 9 on the dice, and you got an 8 on the dice. His willpower is...
Said my endurance?
Yes. Willpower is...
My
17.
good luck, because my endurance is 7.
Endurance is 7. 7 plus 8 is 15. He got a 9 on the dice, plus 8 is 17. He beats you. Cool.
Well, fuck me, I guess.
Let's see. Notified. So you're standing there and you're about to draw your sword, and the ambassador.
Like I just have my hand on the hilt.
On the hilt, yeah. So you're like, when we beat you, I have to stop you from killing all those people. And he just kind of like looming over you, just kind of like flicks his like wrist, like his finger, and you get blasted backwards, 60 feet, which is definitely not how wide this room is. So you take 1d8 times 10 damage as you are blasted against the back wall, the side wall of the room. Take
Sick.
40
That is
damage.
Oh, I was gonna roll it.
Oh, well, I rolled it. Take 40 damage.
Alright. Obviously, I've tried to play nice. I tried to ask you kindly. And yet, here we are. You're still being a pain in my side. And
Yeah, so you get-
not allowing me to do my job.
See, is there any other additional abilities? Is forcefully enough to blow targets through stone walls up to 6 inches thick. Would you just go through the building?
That is a
Oh,
good
in-
question.
That is a good
Injustice
probably.
scene-
Probably, yeah.
Injustice scene cut.
Yeah, it's like Injustice, where like the fights mid combat can like change scenes. I'm gonna look up how thick are theater walls.
Well, normally,
is-
if it's an old school, like New Orleans theater, then
Hmm.
it's literally just wood.
So
It's like
according
wood and
to-
drywall.
According to an acoustics website, side walls are typically treated using 2-inch thick Broadway panels. They are highly effective at absorbing sun energy. Home theater room sizes.
That's a
Drywall
home
thickness.
theater you're looking at. Drywall is not that thick.
No, and it's not gonna. This ability can punch you through brick. So you're going through the
so
wall.
I'm outside.
Yeah, so you get blown 40 feet outside. So you just go, bam, and you get launched through the wall. Like, so the rest of you just watch JVH walk up to the stairs, say something, grab the hilt of his sword, and get blasted through the wall, just randomly, just goes flying.
I start clapping, I whistle. Woo! These special effects, man. Oh, the special effects team on this one.
It's a 4D
Goated.
performance. Interactive.
All right. I tried to be nice. I tried to tell you move aside, and you still didn't listen.
So up next is the sword dancers, I think. Yes, because nobody else has 16.
What's their agility?
They beat you by 1. They have a 16, you have 15.
Son of a bitch.
So there are 4 of them on stage. Can get rid of this internet tab about how thick theater walls are. Let's see how much. What's their agility? 7. Okay. 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, 6, and a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. That's their first actions. Everything arranged because they're sword fighters. I don't think anybody else, like any of like the rest of you, are taking actions to be like threats. So they're just gonna ignore you and just run into the crowd. Like they just book it and start. I mean, they don't start wailing on people, but they will start wailing on people when they get the chance to do so. Actually, I'll say that he goes over here. He'd be like here. So they start booking it that way. That is the sword dancers. Now it is JVH's turn. You're 40 feet out,
sick.
so you're like in the alleyway next to the theater. There's this giant hole in the wall, this like Wile E. Coyote JVH shaped hole that's been blasted through. You're not prone somehow. You are still standing.
Ah, sick. Well, ceremony aside, you know, staying in my normal form will most likely only get me killed, seeing as this is not a human level threat.
What do you mean, bro? He's definitely a normal. He's a garden gnome, bro. He's a gnome. 7 foot tall garden gnome.
This is explicitly false. But yeah, I think I'm going to begin my transformation
Okay.
if I am allowed.
I forget if you are or not. Do you have an ability on your sheet that says transform? I forget.
I do not know.
You don't. So you can't choose when you transform it. When you transform, you just do. Like in times of need, kind of deal. The martyrs choose.
This is a time of need.
Nah.
I'm going to like shout up to the heavens like, hey, your boy, I need help.
Okay, give me a charisma check at disadvantage.
Okay.
So you can yell up at the sky above you, the night sky.
What's my charisma looking like?
Uh,
4.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter because that's a 9. The only other roll I could have done above that is a 10. So take that as you will.
Disadvantage? You got a 9?
Yeah, and a 10.
Oh. All right. Yeah. So you yell up. You're like, help your boy out. You know, I would consider this a time of need. And you.
Because if I die, my team is essentially screwed.
I don't know what you're talking about. You have so little faith in us. Like I don't.
You're right. I do have little faith in you.
What are you talking about? All we're gonna do is clap and be like,
I
"Man,
do
I didn't
have
know
very
JVH
little
was
faith
in
in
on the
you.
show." I don't know what you're talking about. We're surprised you
I
didn't tell us you're
have
a good actor.
I have almost no faith in you.
What do you
That could
mean?
be a very apt description. You are all weak-minded individuals to JVH.
Bosterbrook is quite opposite.
Wow.
Bosterbrook is literally like
Wow.
absolute willpower. He just
And
chooses to be a
yet,
jerk.
and yet.
Yeah, because he's choosing to do this. He isn't under the effect of the spell. He's just like, okay, whatever, cool. Okay, so you got a 9. So you look up at the sky and you're like, hey, God, help me out, bro. Help a fella out.
Listen up. You know, we've had some really tough fights in the past. This guy knows I'm a champion. You know, could you give a little helping hand?
Help a brother out. And you receive. So you look
Everybody
up in the,
needs someone
the
to lean
sky.
on.
Yeah, exactly. So you look up at the starry night sky, and you call out. You're like, "Help a brother out," and you feel for a split second, reality goes from like a 7 to a 1. It just and like you can like taste the color purple and like smell the music in the air kind of thing. It's like and you're like, ugh, the world gets kind of like droopy eyed for a second, and you look around. You notice that time has stopped. And
Okay.
you look up in the sky, and the constellations in the sky have the stars have shifted to be like an old man's face, and you're talking to Fate himself. This is how he appears to people, as the stars. And-
Hey, boss.
yeah, so he's looking down on you, the omni-deity of the multiverse, and he's like, "Look, I'm not gonna give you your champion form right now, because your goal isn't to fight the ambassador. He is one of us. Well, not me, but one of you. He's a champion.
Then why is he killing people like this?
Because he works well, he isn't a champion, but he works. He's the it's complicated.
I can imagine.
It's complicated.
Says the god of time.
I'm not cheating on you. It's complicated.
It's complicated. He's like, well, basically, like, he isn't one of my. Actually, he is one of. But never mind.
Doesn't
like,
matter.
Look, this is my pay grade. He's like, so your goal is not to fight him. You can't kill him anyway, but he can't kill you either. It goes both ways, right? He can hurt you, but he can't kill you because he's also. That's why you were spared the spell's effects, because his magic can't affect you. Because, well, it can, but he out of respect, basically, as a fellow champion, he won't influence you like that.
Yeah.
So your goal isn't to fight him. Your goal is to fight his minions and to close the portal he opened to the hinterland of Alagata in, backstage. That's your goal. He should be he's basically he's going to be a nuisance to you and try to kill your friends. Your goal is to close the portal before that happens.
Fair enough. With that, I'll start to walk back inside.
Okay. So Fate's like, all right, yeah, sure, not gonna thank me or anything. All right, cool.
Thank you.
All right,
thank you.
Cool. Yep. I know
I very
where I
much
stand.
appreciate it.
Sure. That's what I'll say. And he's like, all right, well, remember, children, the greatest form of magic is chronomancy, and then you feel reality kind of, and it returns to like a 7 again, and time is flowing once again.
Because I know what I'm gonna do now.
Yeah.
So when I go back inside, I'm going to cast dampening smog.
I kind of made a joke there. So you want to move back inside?
Yes.
What is your agility? I think it's 5 or 6. 5. Okay.
I think it's 5.
So
Yeah.
It'll take you both actions to get back indoors.
Well, I can get. I'm what 40 feet outside, right?
Yeah.
So I can get to. I can get to what? Like the edge of the building?
You can get 10 feet inside. With both
on
actions.
just one action?
No, with both actions.
How far can I get on one action?
15 feet outside.
That works. Actually, yeah, that works for the narrative.
Okay, so you walk forwards 25 feet. So you're 15 feet away from the wall that leads inside.
Okay.
You get one action.
Can I? Let's see. What can I do? What's within my reach? Like 60 feet, reasonably.
Within 60 feet was 15 to the door. 25, 35, 45, 55. Within your reach, I mean, in the alleyway, there are like dumpsters and like rats.
No, I'm saying like inside.
Oh, inside?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't see anyone from where you are right now, so effectively
I can't see anybody, yes, but like what's within a 60-foot radius of me?
The building. Like, you can't see inside, so you don't know what's in range.
Well, then I guess I've got to use my entire turn to move. All right.
Cool. So you do. You get 10 feet inside, so you all see JBH get blown outside. The dancers, they run off stage, they start hacking people up, and then you see JBH jog back in through the hole in the wall. A little scuffed up and dirty. You do regenerate, so do that.
Hey. So what's my regeneration?
For you, that is 1d4 times 10.
Okay. That is a 4. Good sir.
You're back to full health.
Hey, sick
See,
nasty.
the ambassador didn't actually hurt you.
Essentially.
Yeah.
He hurt my feelings more.
Yeah. So that's your turn. Up next is the Jugglers of Alagada. Where are they? Is there one over here? There are two over here. Okay. What is their agility? Jugglers. 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's the edge of the stage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I need to go over which runes I can cast, by the way.
This one is a plate juggler, and this one is
A plate juggler?
Yeah, I gotta give you the character art for these dudes. And this is a bomb juggler, so he means business.
Oh god.
Yeah, he has little black powder grenades that he's juggling. So yeah, I'll provide the character art for all these enemy types that are suddenly appearing. So yeah, that's their first action. Yeah, so the bomb juggler, he runs down from backstage, laughing like a weirdo, and he just begins.
Bomb juggler.
Yeah, he just begins chucking black powder grenades into the crowd, and
Oh,
blowing people
God.
up. It's pandemonium. The plate guy, he just walks up to the edge of the stage and keeps juggling his plates. He's not doing anything.
He's just juggling plates.
Them's the jugglers, and these are the sword dancers, and this is the fire reader, and that's the shufflers, the card guys. So you have the jugglers, yeah. So the plate guy is the plate guy, and the bomb guy is the bomb guy. And then you got the sword dancer ladies.
You gotta tell us what we need to do, John. Or are you just gonna like?
Well,
walk back in?
you know what? Yeah, you're right. I am just gonna walk back in right now. Because currently I just got back here. So
Yep.
yeah. Some restraint on your part would be very much appreciated.
I was talking about like the out of character information we wouldn't know in character.
Oh yeah, so
How we can't defeat the guy before us, and
yeah.
all that.
I'll fill them in on that.
Okay.
Thank you, because otherwise I was gonna straight use my character to do everything on the ambassador.
But what do you say to your companion as you crawl back into
Uh,
the room?
Also,
Hey,
beforehand,
don't attack the ambassador. There's a portal. We've got to close it. Keep the people from killing each other. Kill his minions.
It's the portal is here.
I don't know about that last.
Well, I can certainly do one of those things.
Yeah. Better question is, did you give Yuna her bow or not? Did Yuna come with?
I will toss Yuna her bow.
Yeah, sure. I'll say that happens on the fairy's turn, which will happen soon, I think. Yeah, it happens now. So yeah, sure. I'll say that Yuna has her little tiny tooth fairy bow. Unix and Yuna are here. For reference.
I'm cooking a pizza real quick.
Wow, cringe.
Pitiful.
For my nephew.
Excuses.
Okay, so what do you want me to focus on? Well, who can close the portal?
We have to close the portal.
No, I'm not saying what do we have to do. I'm saying who can.
Who can?
Yeah, I can't close the portal. Can
I can.
you can? All right, then I'm on minion duty.
Yes.
Probably. Okay. If that is the case, oh, shit. All right. Anyways, I'm not looking at the map right now, but who is close to me, enemy wise?
The closest enemy to you is there's one sword dancer that's 15 feet away, a second one that's 10 feet away, and then there are a bunch of furious theater goers that are 10 feet away from you or 15 feet away from you.
So there's like 10. There's 2 enemies 10 and 15 feet away from me.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna focus on the one that is 10 feet away from me.
Okay.
I think the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have Yuna shoot her arrow at this guy. Which one is the sword dancer, right? Is that the second image you put in
Yes.
underneath the plate and bomb?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in order to get to the guy 10 feet away from you, you had to enter into melee with the guy who was 15 away from you, 15 feet away from you. So you're melee with 2 guys right now.
Wait, but I didn't want to move to anyone.
Oh,
Yeah,
then you've not
I
moved
just want.
to anyone.
No, I have not moved at all, but I can visibly see them.
Yes.
I think Yuna is going to take her paralysis arrow and fire it at. Can I do a called shot? Actually, is that a thing? Or is that only in K4?
No, that's a thing. It takes an action
Okay.
to do, but you can do it.
Well, this takes an action. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. She'll do a paralysis arrow. Actually, paralysis arrow doesn't do damage, so that wouldn't matter. And she'll do paralysis arrow at the sword juggler that's 10 feet away.
All right, give me the perception.
Perception, that's a 9.
Alrighty, that's a hit.
Endurance check at disadvantage.
Endurance check at disadvantage. That's a 5. And that's a 1. Yeah, he fails. So he is paralyzed.
Or you want me to roll or him to roll?
For what?
You to roll. How long he's out for?
What's the dice?
1d8 for turns, not hours.
4.
Okay. Then next is to look at the guy who's 15 feet away and do skeleton surgery.
Okay.
I have to make it vicious.
Skeleton surgery, is that a check on your part or on his part?
Depending on the bone, requires endurance checks to determine. I think I have to do damage. I think damage. I think I'm reading it. Charge site and causing one of the following additional effects. Depending on the chosen bone, requires endurance check to determine effect remains until target receives magical healing. So you might have to do an endurance check for the effect to go. If I'm reading that correctly.
Yes, you got to make an endurance check after you pick a limb.
Oh, I'm gonna pick his rib, of course, my favorite limb.
Alrighty.
The minus endurance stat.
Yeah. So he is
So
endurance.
1d4 times 10 is 30 damage, and then I have to make an endurance check. It got an 8.
Yeah, so his endurance is down to 5. And what did you do the damage?
30.
30. All right.
Then Yuna is going to
You fired one, like you used one action for each fairy because you fired an arrow and
yes.
you destroyed that guy's ribcage.
Yes. And then Yuna will use Toothache on him, which requires an endurance check. Not disadvantage, just a endurance check.
He rolled
Actually,
another
I can
1.
choose. Never mind. Yeah.
So he is stunned, right? Okay, it's
And then
for
Bone
one round,
Fairy.
right?
He is stunned, or is stunned until the end of their next
Yeah, so he's
turn
stunned
as a
for
sudden shooting. Yes.
for 1. All right.
So this turn, and then the end of his turn. So I guess like 2.
Well, for one
So-
round, but yeah.
Yeah. So then Nyx will Nyx, because this can't dodge. Nyx is going to throw a bone spike at this sun guy.
Okay. A
That
bone.
requires a finisher
speak.
of half of the bone mass and perception check to determine success.
All right, so it's half, so you're down to 9.5. So I'll say that you still have max because it hasn't been that long since your last mission.
Okay. I gotta do a perception check. That's a 7.
Let's pass.
And then finish spike, and a number of squares equal to strength, so he's definitely thin. But I don't know my bare hands damage with.
Your bare hands damage?
Yes.
It's on the. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, look for
It's
it.
1d100.
Oh, 1d100?
Yeah.
Okay. Plus 1d100. Wow. Not a lot. He only takes 98 damage from a bone spike.
Wow. Does that think I was stunned?
Yes, the guy who took an additional 30 damage before.
So it does
Or was
100. Jesus. He's almost dead. He's bloodied. So yeah, so you shoots his paralysis arrow, stuns this one guy. Nyx, your palm splits open, and this big jagged shard of bone that's like 3 feet long jets out of your palm, and you grab it and you chuck like a javelin at this guy, and it impales him in the like left like shoulder blade. It goes through his chest, and it impales him and it rips his heart out of his chest, so you can still see his heart there, and it's still beating. He is still standing, however. So these guys are not human, or he's not normal human. Yeah. So that's the fairies' turns. It is Zhu Zhen.
Aha! Finally, my time arrives. Well, then I have something to ask you, uh, Dakota, and it's these two dudes, like sort of in the front row. Are they standing adjacent to each other?
These two dudes?
Yes, and I guess the guy to the right of them as well.
There is 5 feet between these two, but these two are adjacent.
Well, are they lined up, per se?
These two guys are. They're.
Darn.
Yeah, I can. Actually, no, all 3 of them would be. I lied.
All right, perfect. I'm going to step out of my chair, and I'm going to turn towards them and cast Midas Beam. Lamau.
This is the first time we've used this spell. I'm excited. Midas Beam. A beam of flame at a target within 100 feet. During armor step per turn, use needs can be maintained as returns to trade trends. It's finally a player from moving during the digging. So it. All right. This is technically like an AOE. So actually, these are sword dancers. They have a gimmick where they can dodge. This in particular. And they can. So I'm gonna make them try.
Wait, are these the sword dancers that I affected?
Pass. Oh yeah, the sun guy can't. The sun guy just instantly fails. The other two.
The paralyzed guy?
No, the sun.
Is that a
guys.
different guy?
Yeah. So these two guys, they dodge out of the way. They kind of like dance, because they're all dancing like as they're like cutting people up. So you step out of your chair, you finger gun, and you pew, just laser of flame. And the two guys that aren't like freaking out, they kind of twirl around and avoid it.
But that one guy.
But the one guy, the stun guy, he gets
But
the full
that one
force.
guy.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I'll be 3D100.
Doubled because they're all undead. This is very powerful, this combat.
Alright. $160, and that's without the modifier.
So that's, yeah, that would have one-shot him at full health. So this beam of flame, and it just it burns a hole through this guy's like chest, and then it like very quickly spreads and like turns him to ash. It's like, and he's gone. That is your whole turn, because he moves 5 feet. In that case, it is Boston Brooks' turn.
Did Boston Brook roll the lowest?
He rolled the third lowest. The shufflers and the fire eaters rolled worse than he did because they both rolled twos. So Boston Brook rolled like a 3 or something like that.
So is Boston Brook gonna go sword mode or mage mode this?
That's a good question. Do you guys have a preference?
That is a good question.
I remember last time you said you could have had him go mage, but I don't know if which one's gonna. Well, can he always turn sword mode whenever he wants?
Yes. And he
That's
can
not-
choose
so
to
mage
sheath his
build.
sword whenever he wants as well. He just doesn't usually.
All right, then have him be a mage for a bit.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll be a
let's,
mage for a
let's
bit.
see. Let's see Mage Brook.
Yeah, let's bossed out some some Mage Brook. All right, cool.
Oh God.
Let me find his long list of. He cast Prestidigitation. I could.
He actually cast wish.
Yeah, he casts the Wish at 9th level.
11th actually.
11th level.
Don't let it get cold and coagulate.
I'm gonna. He casts Fine Staircase.
There's a staircase within 2 meters of you.
Yeah. Stairway to hell. Actually, he doesn't have like any spells that apply, because none of them are damaging spells. Because he's an abjuration mage. Well,
Of course.
he isn't really,
Of
but he
course.
is for now. He could buff somebody if you want him to buff somebody.
I don't know. I mean, if you were to buff anyone, it'd probably be JVH.
I mean, he could buff someone who's actually in combat right now, because I'm gonna try and use more spells.
Yeah, I was gonna say he could buff Nyx up and
Sure.
make you take half damage.
Sure. Why not?
Okay, so this is a willpower check on his part.
Willpower at disadvantage.
Wait, no, this is that doesn't actually incorrect. He can't do that. He could. Nobody's casting a spell, so he can't delay.
I'm about to.
Yeah, but no enemies are about to cast a spell.
Ah.
Nobody has any mind effects on them or fear effects. Okay, well in that case, he has a gun, so he's going to. I don't think he's gonna waste his bullets on the.
I'm gonna kill you
paralyzed
through the power of friendship and this gun.
guy. Yeah, and this 1911. So he's going to shoot his gun twice at the bomb juggler. I think that should be the first priority. So he's gonna do that. His perception is, I think, like 6. Yes. That's a pass for the first shot. Pass for the second shot. They each do 2d100 damage. Damage double because it's silver against undead. 30 plus 90 is 120. Doubled is 240. He's dead. Dunzo. Boss Ruba draws 1911. Bang, bang. 2 shots to the chest. The first undead goes down. Second action. He's going to shoot at one of the sword dancers that avoided X's beam. That's a 1. Never mind. He jams. Great job, Osterbrook. He killed the dangerous guy, at least.
Good job. Good job.
This is what happens when he doesn't use the sword. He's useless. As Osterbrook's turn, up next is the Shuffler and the Fire Eater. Shuffler has higher agility. He goes first. He's going to be a jerk. Actually, no. That would actually only help you. So he's not going to do that.
Good.
Who does he think?
No. Let him help me.
Actually, no. He's going to use Sim ability at a different target. He's going to... Yeah, he's... Alright, it's an endurance check on his part.
I don't like that chuckle.
He passes. So he looks at this masquerade card dealer, looks at Battlecock, and he makes a hand of, like, a deck of cards appear in his hand, and he, like, shuffles it in his hands. And he's like, oh, you know, Mr. Chicken Man, prepare to play your hand. And then him and Battlecock swap positions.
What?
Yeah, that's the whole spell. He only moved like 15 feet doing that, but it was funny, so I don't care. Then, the Shuffler will. Who does he think? The bigger.
Damn.
Play your hand. Switch.
I think he thinks that X is the bigger threat because he has the fire. So he looks at.
He could burn down this entire.
This whole building, yeah. So he looks at X, and he makes a hand of cards appear in his hands. It kind of like fans them out, and he points them at X, and he goes, "Pick a card, any card." And the one in the middle glows with like a sickly, dark, shadowy energy, and then it launches at you. I need to make a perception check.
Oh dear.
You got a 10. That's really bad. That's so
R.I.P.
bad for you. Yeah, this is a lot of damage. Yeah, this is 2d100 damage.
Oh
Definitely,
god. What happened?
Someone's dead.
Someone's dead, yeah.
So X is a demon now.
Lamau?
Because he did like 300 and like 80 damage to you.
Lemao.
What, does X have like a failsafe? Takes enough damage, turns demon form?
Yeah, if he gets knocked unconscious, he goes demon. So
Kind of like how Outcast does it.
Yeah, so this guy is, you know, pick a card, any card, and this launches towards X, and it goes straight through his chest. Just in through one side, out the other, and X is like, ooh, and he like vomits up blood. He collapses unconscious. On his turn, he will come back as a demon.
Doesn't that mean they made the situation worse?
I mean, yeah,
For
they don't know
them.
that. Not until his next turn when he goes full demon and like, uh-oh, what have I done?
I shouldn't have killed him.
Now it's the Fire Eater's turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's slow. What's the range?
Close enough.
30 feet is his range. So he's out of... He can shoot Battlecock with a fire spit, but I don't think he's going to because he still thinks the chicken is a chicken. He's going to spend his actions and move.
Chicken's just a chicken.
1, 2, 3, 4. So he moves up a little bit. Now it is the people's turn.
I just got a question.
Sure.
Is Yuna still invisible?
No, she made an attack. So, over those 6 seconds, 12 civilians die.
Oh god.
So that's nice. Back up top of the turn order, Ironically enough, it's Battlecock.
Yeah.
LMA. Alright, well.
Roll for
Lean
personality.
In that case. I guess. Is he still floating in the air?
Oh, that's a good point. Oh no!
That's
Wait a
Wait.
minute.
He-
Wait a minute. It's a good question.
Wait,
So the shuffler
The
is now also
magician-
floating.
Floating.
That's pretty funny.
no. Wait, would he be switched like both magically, or he just appeared and then fell 30 feet?
Because the ambassador was targeting Battlecock with a telekinesis spell, well, a telekinetic ability,
Yes.
because he's psychic. So
Battlecock is still in the air.
yeah, I'd say that Well, no, I think the shuffler's in the air and Battlecock is on the ground.
That's
That's so
I think that one
cursed.
first.
gosh. Comedic
now-
gold.
There's now
Comedic gold.
there's now
A random man in the air.
yeah, there's now
Yeah.
a masquerade magician, kind of like zero gravity, twirling around, floating in the air, throwing cards at people.
God.
The best show, Broadway
Perfect.
material.
Oh,
Prefer no other way.
There he goes. He's now floating.
This sounds like one hell of a show.
It is. What does Battlecock do?
What do? What do?
Well, I have to roll for personality first, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. That would be the process of events, yes.
7. I think that's martial artist.
It is.
Alright, well, in that case. Let me see what I can't even do.
Everything.
Oh God. I realized I have to make up when he gets his new like monk powers. I have to make there are 2 different sets of powers. One for the martial artist, one for the serial killer. That's gonna be so dangerous. Oh my God.
Oh god.
Well. Actually, am I next to people? Because I can see Battlecock.
Well, I mean,
couple dudes on
Battlecock's
there.
on the ground now, like you said.
Yeah, you're adjacent to the plate juggler.
Alright. Well, if it's just that guy, then I'm going to bicycle kick him.
Alrighty. That's like 4 attacks, something like that. It's like half your agility plus 1.
Yeah, 4.
So in that case, I think jugglers don't have that good reflexes. And they do. I
No.
lied. They have enhanced reflexes.
Gah.
I will have him roll 3 dodges. Pass. 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 You hit him once.
The 1 kick landed.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. 6.
Cool. That's your first action.
Oh, true. Well, in that case, I guess I could go for Foot of the Tiny Dragon.
Oh. Yeah, because it's guaranteed to hit. Just roll damage.
$140.
Dang. 200 total damage. He is definitely bloody. He's approaching death's door. That is
Also,
Battlecock's turn.
this does knockback, I believe.
Oh, I think it does, right? Yeah. Let me look at that. I'm eating mac and cheese right now, so
Hmm.
here we can like that.
No.
It's regeneration,
nice.
though. It's regeneration.
Very nice.
Let's see. Foot of a tiny dragon. Yes, I'm gonna check a -2. He rolled a 3, so that's a 1. He goes flying. Half your strength, which is 6. He goes 15 feet away from you. 1.
Wait, what?
So this guy gets flown. So he lands near X's unconscious, transforming corpse. As this energized
Sick.
chicken foot kicks this zombie juggler, zombie juggler. His plates go flying. His sticks go flying as he is thrown across the room. Bad day to be plate juggling man.
Indeed.
That's 3 key points down for. Actually, it's more than 3 because it's bicycle kick is 2, so it's 5 key points down. Out of 20, he's fine. It's Battlecock's turn. Now it is the ambassador's turn. I think the ambassador is the ambassador going to drop his goon? I don't think so. He finds it too funny. He's gonna keep concentrating on that guy. Axe is down, so he's not gonna worry about that. He sees that JVH is back, so he's going to mess with JVH some more.
Swear to fuck if you push me out of the
Flings
building
him back
again.
I could. I think it'd be so funny. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do something worse.
I'm going to fling you in the air.
Is he gonna?
Don't you do it. Don't you dare.
Oh, I could be so mean.
Don't you dare. Don't do it. Don't do it. This is your warning.
Man, it sounds like JV is really getting bullied right now.
I'm just seeing
This
if I want to
is your warning.
how mean I want to be, and who I want to.
You're not going to be. I've done nothing, and I can do things. I can actually do things against this.
All right, I won't be mean to you then. I'll bully Nix instead. How about that?
Yeah, do it.
Actually, I know. So I need Yuna to make me 1d10 and add your strength, please.
Okay.
Wow, you rolled really poorly. Got a 12 in total.
Yeah, I didn't roll really poorly.
We teleport to a universe where you didn't.
Hold on.
So you got 3 plus 9, so you got a 12 in total.
He beats me even with a 10. Because Yuna
Yeah,
has
tiny.
1 strength.
Yeah, tiny baby fairy. So the ambassador, who is still bowing, by the way, he's bowing, he's blowing kisses to the crowd, and like roses are just appearing across the room and are being tossed at him and landing on the stage. And as he's blowing his kisses, he blows one at Yuna, and her little tiny, like half-inch, 1-inch tall bow and arrow flies from her hands and into the palm of the ambassador, who just catches it and is now holding it now.
Oh God.
That's his first action, is to just take your item.
She had all arrow, no bow.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
I was gonna give him
Start throwing arrows.
I was gonna give him an ability where he could mass steal your items, but I decided not to because it'd be impossible to combat. So I decided to.
Yeah.
Now Yuna's gonna literally tie like a headband to her and start stabbing people with paralysis arrows.
And he's going to do
Yeah,
something.
you
You guys
should.
don't know what happens. But he does the thing.
God.
Actually, I'm gonna put it here. That is not the right.
Does a thing, huh?
A thing, you say?
Damn. Hate to be that thing.
I'd hate to be around when that thing happens.
Yep.
But unfortunately,
That's the ambassador's turn. Now it is the sword dancer's turns. This guy is paralyzed for 3 more
Are
combat
there
turns.
4 sword dancers or
There's
one?
3 left.
I mean 3. So there's 1 paralyzed, 1 stun.
Well, the sun guy's dead.
What about the paralyzed guy?
He's still here.
Okay.
These 2 dudes are going to charge Boston Brook. Actually, no, one's going to charge Boston Brook. One's going to go around Boston Brook and try to attack Nyx instead.
Oh no. Not when I'm going back to work outside.
So the first guy is going after Boston Brook. This... let me look. Sword.
I'm waiting on you. You're the one who said you haven't even thought about it.
Let's see. 2 times per action per sword. This is 4 attacks coming at Boston Brook, who can dodge once. He's an old man. And he's using his sword right now, so he can only dodge once, I'm pretty sure. Yes. So he will try.
What?
He doesn't, I don't think.
Winston, come on. Winston.
No, he doesn't. He fails. Okay, cool. So he just takes a bunch of damage. Look at his health. Alright, he has his full health. Actually, he might have a reaction he could use. I'm gonna look at that first. He does have counter. So he could.
so what are you waiting for?
Is he rather than trying to dodge, he's just going to like quick
Full
draw
counter.
his sword, yeah, and just yeah, that just does damage because this guy ran out of reactions trying to dodge X before. $240 damage. Wow.
Jeez.
He's still alive. Actually, is he? Yes, he is.
Did Boston Brook not listen when I said we can't kill the
Lamau, it's not even the ambassador?
No, he's fighting
ambassador?
the shuffler. Or the,
No,
Oh,
it's
okay.
the
Good.
sword
Good.
guy.
So he full counters. In doing so, he draws life's limit. So he has extra health now. So that attack doesn't actually do very much. He would have taken. Which does. Yeah, okay. He took 140 damage. So he would have almost died had he not drawn the sword in time.
Oh, jeez.
So he's down to 360.
The fact that Boston Brook could have just died there is
Yeah.
terrifying in and of itself.
Glass cannon Boston Wood. Other guy's going to do 4 sword attacks at the Bone Fairy. How many can you dodge?
I don't think he gave special defense. I think only 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't give you any.
Has strength, has durability, peculiar agility. Yeah, because I only have 7 agility, so I don't think I got anything for it.
Yeah, so you can attempt to dodge one of them.
Cool. Dodge I shall with me.
Okay. So you take 3d8 damage. You take 210 damage. You have armor, and this does not ignore armor, so make me 3 armor checks, so 3d10.
Seven, 10, 10.
Jesus. The 7 fails.
I know, right?
But the 2 10s pass. You only take minus 100. Or no, minus 8, minus 7. Take 60 damage. Cool. That's the Sword Dancer's turns. Now it is JVH.
Me already. So what I'm gonna do, now that I'm finally able to do anything, who's near me? Like, combat-wise? Like, who can I combat?
Not a single soul. I mean, there is that shuffler guy who
Well,
is 10,
as I said
he's
before, within 60 feet.
oh, within 60 feet.
Yes.
10, 20, 30,
Or, well,
40,
30 feet.
Within 30 feet?
Even.
10, 20.
Any
Within 30
amount of
feet.
distance.
There's one guy within 30 feet of you.
Okay, who would that be?
The plate juggler.
I'm gonna fire disarming spell.
Okay. What does that require?
Requires perception check.
Okay, so give me that.
That is in 7.
Okay, it's a pass.
Sick nasty.
He needs to make an endurance check at disadvantage, or drop an item they're currently holding. You got a 5. I don't know if that passes or not. I think that does. Juggler. It does. So he retains hold of his plates.
So I'm essentially useless in this combat. Sick nasty. I will therefore. Alright, who is within 60 feet?
A lot.
Okay,
Like
who
everybody, like all the
meaningful
actual
to
enemies.
combat.
All the actual enemies and the ambassador. I think.
Okay.
5, 10,
I am
10
going
20, 30,
to-
40, 50. Yeah, everybody important is within range.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to cast Break Will.
Break will. Let's see, within 12 feet, until social squares, there's a temporary curse on their mind for them to make time with person over similar specifically. Okay. So give me that endurance check.
Alright. That one's an 8.
Pass.
I'm going to be casting this on... Who's within 60 feet? Everybody, right?
Well, yeah, this affects everyone in 60 feet.
Oh, okay, sick.
So you just
So,
get
yeah,
everybody.
that's-
So anytime they take an action, they take damage. That's quite powerful in a
Hey.
combat this big. I mean, that also hurts
Yeah.
the civilians. So
Yeah,
they're all gonna
but
die.
you know what?
But-
It's fine.
Like, hold on, I can count. 10, 20, 30,
You know
40,
what?
50.
You know what? He wants to play hardball. I'll play hardball right back.
So all of those guys, all these 2 whole rows of people are just deceased
They will
now.
die by my affliction, not his.
Hold on. Didn't mean to get rid of that juggler. But all these, let's see, that's
So let me get
6,
this straight.
7, 8,
You're
9, 10,
killing
11, 12, 15. That's
all the
14
humans.
civilians.
I am the
14 civilians.
catalyst. I am the catalyst.
Okay.
14 civilians will just perish.
Yeah.
Well, they will anyway, over the course of the next 6 seconds. Let's see. Okay, that's your whole turn. Up next is the Jugglers. Plate Juggler. He's had his plates assaulted. He is insulted. So he will throw his plates at you, JBH.
Can I counter this?
If you have a thing.
Seeing as it's a plate. I have 2 reactions.
Yeah, so you can dodge. And your only other reaction is a counter, but you're not in melee, so.
Fair enough.
He can attack you 3 times in one action. These plates.
I mean, yeah.
Actually, are you in range? 6
Am I
squares.
within
1,
60
2, 3,
feet of
4.
him or 30 feet of him?
He's in. Yeah, he is within range of you, barely, but he's within range. So yeah, he throws. So he's juggling these bunch of plates on his like arms, legs, toes, back, chest, and one's on his like arms and his legs. He like flicks his wrists and stuff, and these spinning plates like shoot towards you at like unnatural speeds.
Can I just dodge backwards?
Yeah. So you have 2 reactions. You said so you can dodge 2 of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna dodge backwards and try and get out of range. Because if I go backwards towards the opening in the wall,
You can't move squares in a dodge unless you have an ability that lets you do that.
So wait, are there seats?
No,
Here?
this is like these seats are the second story above you. You're under them right now. Like in, it's kind of weird, but you're under the second floor. There are people on the second floor too that are like being tossed over the edge and stuff like that. It's pandemonium.
Not fun. Not fun.
Indeed. But yeah, so you can make 2 agility checks. Actually, can you?
Yeah,
No, you can't. You can't
I
dodge.
have 2 reactions.
You can't
though.
dodge range attacks.
For fuck's sake.
So these do
I fucking hate you.
1d each. Jesus. Oh my god.
Alright.
Oh my
How
god.
badly do I die?
Do you want to know what I just rolled?
What?
On 3d100, you want to know what I just rolled?
What?
3 90s.
Well, I'm dead.
Roll me a mercy roll.
Do I get to go into a champion form now, huh?
Yeah, if you roll high enough, you get to roll. You get to go.
So what am I doing for a mercy roll on this D20?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Opal died, don't let me down. Oh, stop! Stop! You don't know how fucked you are now. That is a 20.
Oh. So these plates. This is so anticlimactic. These plates come flying at you, and like they like one of them like cleaves into your stomach and like almost cuts you in half. A second one cuts your arm off. The third one cuts your head clean off. And as your body parts fall to the ground, they explode in this brilliant golden light. And standing where you previously stood is no longer Dr. Van Helsing. It is now the champion Van Helsing.
It's about time. Because I knew that if I died here, I wouldn't have enough time to get back to the theater.
Mm-hmm, exactly. That's why I gave you the chance
Yes.
to... So you are now in your champion form. Plate Man, scared.
As he should be.
Yes, that's his turn. Up next, the Jugglers. Yes, Jugglers is scared. In that case, it's 14. It's next. It's 12. It is. Oh, speaking of transformations, X wakes up as a demon. This poor Juggler,
That's it.
horribly, he's terrified.
As he should be. He is now fighting a demon and a holy being at the same time.
And a chicken,
And a chicken, yes.
And a chicken. Can't forget the chicken.
of course. So yeah, what does Demon Warlock do?
What do?
I think it's time. Aggress. And by aggress, I mean do the classic maneuver.
And what is that? A
Pick 6 plus.
Ah. Pick 6 plus.
Ooh.
Yeah, Pick 6 2.0. Shoot volley of hellfire. 6 spheres of hellfire. Targets up to 6 targets within 60 feet. Each of which deals 2d12 times 10 instead of 2d100. Each requires the percentage. So who are you shooting at? JVH. Just. So who are
Finally
you?
time.
It's about time.
Master Betrayal. So yeah, who are you shooting at? 'Cause you can hit everybody important within 60 feet. So.
Alright, well, I think I'm just going to take a shot at each NPC, just for kicks.
All right, you kill Boston Brook in one shot.
Nice.
You kill Battlecock one shot for sure. Yeah, so there are 7 enemies on the board, including the ambassador. So you can you can shoot at each one of the enemies right now.
Alright, well, I think I'll accept the ambassador and just take a shot at everyone else.
All right, give me 6 perception checks. Starting from
Alright,
closest
here we
to
go.
farthest.
That's a 6.
It's a pass.
That's a 6.
It's a pass.
That's a 9.
Pass.
That's an 8.
Pass.
That's an 8.
Pass.
That's a 4.
I'm pretty sure that.
I just realized I could do this.
It's pass. So you hit it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Roll me 2d12 times 10. 6 times. Double that too, because this is. Oh no, this is Hellfire. Oh, does Hellfire do extra damage to undead?
Yes. No. Actually, that's a lie. No, Hellfire does not do.
Because they
Extra
aren't
damage.
demonic undead, but they're not like.
Yeah,
holy
no.
undead either?
It still doesn't do extra damage though.
Okay, so yeah, so I'll say just 1 times damage, rather than double. So yeah, so 2d12 times 10, ignoring armor.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't do double damage. If it's not holy, then it doesn't do double damage.
But it would have hurt the Fire Eater, who is immune to mundane fire, so that's cool.
Oh yeah. But
Alright, let's see about this then.
anyone that's
So the first one, Blark, is gonna be 20.
Oh, well man, I got rid of that model thinking you were going to kill him in one shot. You had 50 health left, and you did 20 damage. Okay, cool.
So
Alright.
wait, he only did 20 damage.
Well, no, 200.
Oh,
20
oh.
cumulative dice numbers.
No, then he's definitely dead.
The next one is going to be 16 on the die.
160 damage, okay. He's not quite dead, but he's almost dead. He's definitely bloodied.
He's on his way out.
Next one is also 16.
Same thing, paralyzed guy, looking bloodied. Oh, you just killed
Next
the
one-
other guy. You don't even bother rolling. He just instantly dies. He had 10 health left. He's just dead.
Dead. Just dead.
Next one is 220.
Jesus, that's almost max. Wowzers. That Fire Eater is almost bloodied. And the last one?
110.
110. Alright. That's your first action.
Oh,
That's a cantrip too, Jesus Christ.
oh God.
So yeah, that's your first action, Demon Xavier. What do you want for your second?
All right, let's see. What else can I do? Um, oh, I could do. Oh, raise. That'd be pretty funny, I think.
That would be pretty funny.
Yeah, put that on stage.
Oh,
Oh, actually, Battlecock would have to get out of there before I do that.
yeah, that's true.
So maybe a hold action for that.
Okay, hold action. So you're holding raise until Battlecock gets out of the AOE.
That
Okay.
would be smart.
All right, cool. So that's X's turn. In that case, it is Buster Brook. So after last turn, he sees GBH go full angel. He sees X go full demon. He's like, all right, that's it. And he just puts his gun away. He draws his sword. He's like, magic is for nerds. He just starts carving through people. So he's in melee with a paralyzed sword dancer, who he will promptly cut up. Only gonna use one attack on him. Dead. Then he moves. Oh, he could attack either the sword dancer or the fire eater.
Mm-mm.
He's gonna go for the fire eater, I think. So he climbs up on stage, and then he two strikes at this fire eater. I think he can only dodge one of them. Yes, so he will try to do so. He failed horribly. 10d10 damage.
Jeez.
Wow, that's really divisive.
That's unfortunate.
That is 560 damage.
Oof.
Instantly cleaves this undead guy in half.
In twain.
That is Boston Brook's turn. Good old Boston Brook. Could count on him to thin the herd.
Of course.
Now it is the Shuffler's turn, who's floating. I love this guy. His powers are so fun. I love his gimmicks. They're so good. So, the Shuffler. He's going to... who should he target with this?
He's welcome to try.
Yeah, because there's so many people here, and they're all like equally scary. So, he's like, well, I don't, like he's just frozen in anticipation. He has no idea what to do. First action.
Now there's a golden guy over here.
There's a gold guy. This guy's cleaving fat people in half at once. Like the sword. There's a demon now. All this stuff's going on. He's going to. Well, actually, I needed to roll Boston Brook's regeneration. So I'll do that. His regen is 1d8. 50 health. So it's a 410. Alright. The Shuffler. He's gonna try to stun Boston Brook, I guess. He's closest. So the Shuffler, he's like upside down, like twirling around, floating in midair, and he pulls out his deck of cards and he looks at Boston Brook and he goes, shuffle thoughts, and then he just shuffles the cards around. Boston Brook needs to make an intelligence check at his advantage.
Oh God.
He got a 1. Boston Brook, the smartest member of the party, has been stunned with an intelligence attack.
Oh God.
Lamau.
What a meme. What a meme. I mean, he's dumber in his sword form, so that is excusable.
Man. Oh man. That's hilarious.
So yeah, he's been stunned. Shuffler, that's his first action. His second action is going to be...
Genuinely the funniest thing I've heard all day.
Oh, I skipped the fairies a while ago. That's fine.
Just-
I'll come back to them after this guy. His second action... Cry, honestly. Just cry.
Cry.
Yeah, he's just gonna cry. He's just, well, he's gonna cry, but he's undead. He can't cry. He's just gonna kind of like he just, I don't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do. Fairies.
So wait, let me get this straight. This guy tries to attack Boston Brook, and Boston Brook falls for it.
Yeah, the gimmick is that he shuffles Boston Brook's thoughts to confuse him. So Boston Brook is charging and he stops and he's like, "What am I doing? Where am I? Who are you?" And he's just really confused for a second. It's pretty funny. And then then the guy's floating in midair and he's just like, "Well, I'm done. That's my turn. I don't know. I got nothing else." He could have throw a card. It's not gonna do anything. So.
Oh baby.
The fairies, it's your turn.
Oh, that's hilarious. That is grade A comedy right there.
Yeah, so it's now the fairies' turn.
You're gonna hear some loud shuffling.
Very well.
So I want to say so many things, make fun of people, but regardless, though, who is close enough? I think it has to be 150
To
health.
die?
Yeah. Anyone at 150? Yes.
Yes.
No.
Shovel there, but you dirt there. No. Put it out of the way for a minute. Let me shovel. Put it. Let me put it.
Okay, let me put it over there.
Put it right here. Put it right here.
Okay, fine. All right, so go on. No one's at 150.
No, there's the guy right now, the sword dancer next to you. He has 100. He's 90 health.
Oh, he is. Is he the last of?
He's the last of it's him and the shuffler floating in midair.
And the shuffler is low health.
Yes. The shuffler has not at 150. The shuffler has 100.
I have
Yeah,
become
40.
champion to do nothing.
Yeah, actually. So both the shuffler and the sword dancer are at or below 150 health.
Short stuff.
Kick it open a little bit.
What? Anyways, the card shuffler.
I could generate
Discord
a Halo
skeleton.
over X.
Are you gonna make the shuffler disgorge his skeleton?
Midair, yeah.
Move it down.
Of course. Okay.
I could generate Halo over someone.
Let's see, disgorge skeleton. Force a target within 30 feet and with 150 or lower health.
He's
Is
not
he within
30
30
feet,
feet?
is he?
He's not. No.
Can I make it?
Actually, wait. Is
To
he?
be 30 feet?
5, 10, 15. He is within 30 feet. Never mind. To vomit up their entire skeleton, killing them instantly. Has no effect on targets with more health or targets that lack a skeleton. Give me an endurance check.
Lack a skeleton. Give me a check to see if he has a skeleton.
Sure. Hold on.
He just has no skeleton. Joke's
got
on
10.
you.
Dang. All right. So yeah. So this shuffler, he messes with Boston Brook's head, and as he's trying to shuffle through his card deck to find a new card to play, he just vomits up his entire
Have I shut
skeleton.
down now?
Oh God.
And he just and his whole skeleton flies out of his mouth. The skeleton is not floating, so that lands on the ground in a heap. But his skin and muscle and fat and stuff is still floating there in a now gelatinous mass. He's dead.
Sounds fun.
Good job.
Sick. Okay. How many rounds has it been?
The big logs.
A couple.
Has it been past 3?
I think this is the third, because he got blown out. Walk back was 2. transformed. So yeah, this is the third turn.
There. Then that means my skeleton surgery has came back. That sword juggler. That's the last one, right, of his minions.
Yeah, and he's in the sword dancer's in melee with you right now.
Here.
Take those branches, neatly put it on top of that.
Okay. He's in melee with me, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, if I still have my dagger from way back when, I will stab him to death.
Sure. What's your agility? 7. Okay, so you can attack him 3 times. Has this guy used his reactions? No, he hasn't. So he can make 3 dodges. Pass. 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 He succeeds. He takes no damage. It is now the Tooth Fairy's turn.
Well, that sucks.
The branches fell.
So the Tooth Fairy is going to toothache him.
Put it on the side.
Alrighty. Let's see. Toothache. Alright, so he has to make an endurance check. So he will. He passes with a 7.
Damn. Well, there's only one thing left to do. Sleep.
Leap.
You're gonna try to cleap him. So he has to make it.
All these endurance checks.
Yeah, well, he got a 2 after the bat, so he also automatically fails. He falls asleep for 1d6. Actually, he's undead.
Does he fall asleep?
Ooh.
Do undead falls?
Are undead immune to sleep effects?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. I'm gonna see. What does D&D 5e say about this, Xavier?
I
think
think
Mm.
I don't think undead need sleep.
Well, they don't need sleep, no, but
They don't need
can
it,
they be
but-
magically induced?
Yeah.
I don't think so if they don't need sleep. If they're
Okay.
undead, then they don't really have a consciousness to put to sleep.
A basic
Is-
5e zombie is only immune to being poisoned.
Well, then there's your answer.
So no, they can't
actually, well, yes and no, I guess, because in the specific sleep spell, it says in the text that undead and creatures immune to being charmed aren't affected by the spell.
Oh, so it specifies that undead aren't affected. Well, I don't think I gave that specificity to this version. I did not. So I'll say it works.
Stepping forward.
So you've cleaped this sword
okay.
dancer.
Cool. Well, I put this on the side. Okay. Okay. And the fairies will. Well, that's it. Their turn. Oh, and regeneration actually. Before I forget, I took damage. Let me see my regeneration.
Actually, no, you're at full health. You regenerated.
Did I not take damage?
You did, but I'm pretty sure you regenerated back to full, didn't you?
I didn't do regeneration at all.
Oh. Then I didn't write the damage you took down to begin with,
Hold on.
so no, you're fine.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. All right. Okay, that's your turn. Max already went. Bostwick already. Did Bostwick go? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, 'cause the
Austin
shuffle
Brook
and fire-
did
yeah,
went.
yeah,
He
yeah.
got shuffled.
Yeah, Shuffle
Yes.
went. So that means it's the civilian death toll time. 3 more people die.
Hold on.
Cool.
I'm going to cast something on my turn that is going to shake up this entire area.
Well, all of the goons are dead, and
Yes.
the goons didn't get a chance to kill any civilians because the gimmick of the combat is that each civilian that the goons kill spawns a new goon, but they didn't get the chance to gank anybody. So they're out of goons.
Sucks for them.
So I think at this point, the ambassador looks to all of you. The clone disappears. That JVH can see. The clone disappears. And it's only him standing among these hanging corpses on the stage. And he looks to all of you, and he's like, you should consider yourselves lucky to have survived this encounter, although, to be honest, I mean, I wasn't really trying that hard. But know this, mortals. I came here not as an attack on you, alright? I invited you all here by name specifically to offer a warning. Big things are coming very, very shortly, and my master decided to, as a professional courtesy to Dr. Van Helsing, extend this warning. It will not happen again. Have a good evening, gentlemen. And then he kind of, salutes to all of you, and then...
Come on! You're really gonna end this on that?
Yeah, he's gone. Poof. The portal's still here, but he's gone.
Alright, well, I mean, fine. We're out of combat.
Yes and no, because there's still, the riot going on, and the portal's still open.
I'm going to cast Do Not Be Afraid.
Alright, let me look at what that
Oh,
spell
I'm gonna
does.
high speed flight to the area that will allow me most access to people around me, and then cast Do Not Be Afraid.
What's the 60 feet? That's pretty big. Is that
Yeah.
radius? Yeah, that's pretty big. High speed flight, you can get wherever you want, pretty much.
Yeah.
You just, because you're like kind of.
I want-
So you just fly over to the middle of the room, and I'll say that you. Let's see. Does that be afraid? Just give me a charisma check at advantage.
At advantage?
That's what the ability says.
Alright. Newt. That is a 1 and a 9.
Good thing you had that advantage, huh?
Exactly.
So a 9 definitely passes. So this angelic figure flies up to the center of the hall, glows a brilliant light, strikes the JoJo pose, and declares, "Do not be afraid." And instantly, this wave of pantheonic magic blasts outwards. The sleeping sword dancer just dies. It just kills him outright. And the wave passes through all the different surviving civilians, and they are all calmed.
Good. Well, time to figure out what's going on with that portal.
Yeah, I'll say that combat's pretty much over at this point. The goons outside are all blanket. They're not sticking around.
He'll want to see me. I'm telling you.
Alright. Well, time to figure out this portal. What are the passive effects of JVH as a champion?
There aren't any at the moment. I didn't really update the champion form. Not yet, anyway. Yeah, so you guys head over to the portal. And it is a big, black, shadowy sphere that is kind of off backstage. It's like leaking mist.
Time to close that. Can I close it via ritual magic?
Yeah, you and Boswick can both just make a hiney ho and dispel the portal. So yeah, you and Boswick, do the Dragon Ball Z fusion dance, but on the portal, and it kind of vibrates very vigorously as you guys are casting the spell.
Oh.
It kind of, and then after you finish casting it, it kind of like cracks, like reality like cracks, and then it like the portal, it's like the portal is like a hole in reality, and like the hole is being like braced open, and you've removed the braces, so reality like snaps back into place, and the portal is gone.
Ah, sick.
And you feel reality return to a 10 out of 10 reality site, like stability level.
10 out of 10 would reality again.
Exactly. So yeah, you're all, so you dispel the portal, the mist disappears. Now you're all just in this theater filled with corpses and unconscious partygoers.
Well, time to get a rapid response crew here.
All right. Yes, yeah, so you guys, go ahead, like run outside. You call up McLafferty, and you're like, "Hey, yo, we have a problem." And yes, she sends over buses of guards to come in, and like doctors to check out the survivors, and like ambulances and all kinds of stuff. Like the WCU brings in like priests to come over and like healing magic people, because there's so many injured here that like the hospital couldn't take them all. So they're like, all right, we gotta thin these numbers out. So they get like priests, and like Boswick helps people, and you help people, and X doesn't help people.
So I'm not. I'm pretty much not a champion for the combat aspect. I'm a champion in the sense that I am helping people heal now.
Yeah. You're a calming presence for all the people who are permanently traumatized.
Horribly traumatized, yes.
Like, no amount of therapy, no amount of alcohol or drugs is ever going to be able to erase the things that they've seen and done.
But me being there is just relaxing.
Yeah, and it's helping to kind of keep them all from going crazy, like, immediately.
Yes.
So you all spend, like, the rest of the night, basically, going over these people, helping them out.
We're also going to admit these people into JPCU custody.
Yeah.
They are not to go to normal doctors.
Yeah, the amnestics get passed around, I think.
Yes. Absolutely.
Like, all right, people, form an orderly line, walk through this tent, please, and they come out and they
have some apple juice, some fruit snacks.
Yeah, and take this
See,
shot.
we're smart about it. We hand our amnestics in snacks.
Yeah, and keep people calm and stuff, not be suspicious. So
Exactly.
They all take their medication without knowing it, and as one by one, as they leave the tent, there's a guard there to tell them, like, all right, like, to basically replace the memories. So it's like they walk out, and the guard's like, all right, you got an invitation to this play. You went there. It was like, Midsummer Night's Dream. It was very nice. You
loved it.
This person, you loved it. You are now leaving, right? And then they keep them in this trance. And everybody, this whole crowd of people, like 100 people, are all out front of this building, all in this trance. All the guards pack up the tents. The doctors go away. The priests all leave. You all get in the limousine, and as you drive off, McLafferty casts a spell, and they all like snap to it again, and they all look around each other really confused, and they're all like, "Oh, okay," and they'll just walk off like nothing ever happened. It's very unnatural looking, knowing what actually happened.
Oh man, did you guys just see that Midsummer Night's play? Oh, that was so good, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're all like, "Oh, yeah, it was really, really great play." It's like, but oh man, because some of them were injured and stuff
hurts.
too. Yeah, like, oh man, it's like, you have a black eye, man. What happened? And then like the injuries.
Am I missing a finger?
Yeah, like all the injuries were explained in the memory editing too. So like, oh, if they're missing body parts, like, oh, you've always been missing that, but like you lost that when you were a kindergartner, and it's just
you had to get a surgery because it got infected.
Yes, like all this stuff, like so much of their lives have been edited to accompany for these massive events, but it spares them all their sanity, so it's worth it in the end.
Can I de-transform?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. As soon as you guys get like go to get in the limousine. And
Before I do, I will teleport to my sphere because I must now hold an audience with my bosses.
All right. Yeah. So you go to your sphere, and you enter like the communication room of your sphere, and like the creepy domed room with all the stitches on the walls and stuff. And you walk in and you cast the ritual. And who do you want to talk to?
All if possible.
Probably not possible.
We're talking like okay, so then probably Fate, right?
I mean, he is the head honcho, so.
Yeah. So I had a warning from this guy, and he said something big is coming. And I don't know what he means by that. I don't know if I should be threatened.
Fate kind of like he manifests from so when you cast the spell, the walls of the sphere become like smoke, like whirling, like a tornado almost, whirling like walls of fog, like a dome of fog, and
Right.
Fate walks through the wall of fog. He appears as this like humanoid guy in a very sci-fi looking suit, and his head is like a universe, like a swirling maelstrom of like stars and